the right Brandon.
Hello,
Or is this the
friends.
right Brandon?
And
Oh, that's not the right Brandon. Not yet. Or should I? If you don't give me an answer in 30 seconds, there
Sure.
we go. Okay.
I'm
I was
here,
gonna start
I'm
playing it. We can do that too.
I was just gonna
I love your
start playing it.
background.
You like it?
I love your background, dude. That's so good. Somebody sent me a video. Triple Dad sent me a video of that with White Lotus music playing in it.
Yeah.
Have you seen White Lotus?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, okay, you might not get it. Anyone who's seen White Lotus, you'll get it though. Like the images remind me of like White Lotus type theme. But anyways, I love it. How's it going, man?
It's going good.
You have some.
You ready for the best hex meditation of your life?
My body's ready.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll take us out and just play the video.
Just play the video.
All right. How long is it?
Oh, we got 11 minutes.
11 minutes. Perfect. All right. Let's go.
yourself. Hello, friends, and welcome back. It's good to see you. It's been too long. It's time for us to recalibrate, and what better way to do that than to center ourselves here in a most sacred week of the year, Hex Week. So for those of us who have weathered the storms of market volatility, let's embark now on a journey into a peaceful, calming, and centering world we know as Hexaco. So please find a comfortable spot to sit in or recline or lay down. Whatever makes you feel as undisturbed as possible. Let your body settle, perhaps with your hands on your abdomen or in your lap. Gently close your eyes or soften your gaze downward. Feel the support beneath you, like the unshakable blockchain that underpins Hex, the solid and unchanging pulse chain. Now, let's begin with the breath, the quiet rhythm that centers you amid any chaos. Inhale slowly through the nose, drawing in serenity as we count 5, 5, 5, 5, and hold the breath for 5, 5, 5, 5, and exhale through your mouth 5, 5, 5, 5, and release any market anxieties or external doubts. With each inhale, invite calm, and with each exhale, cast out your reliance on untrustworthy systems. Breathe in self-trust with no middlemen, and breathe out fear. Continue this cycle a few times, allowing your muscles to unwind. Allow your mind to clear like the pristine ledger that is pulse chain. As you're clearing your mind, we now get ready to transport to the serene sanctuary known as Hexaco. Imagine arriving on its warm, sun-kissed beaches, where golden sands stretch endlessly under a vast sky. The gentle waves of a crystal-clear ocean lap at the shore, their rhythm syncing with your breath, peaceful, eternal. Palm trees sway softly in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets of true decentralization. Hexaco is a haven of beautiful nature, lush jungles teeming with vibrant flora, waterfalls cascading into tranquil pools, and beautiful sunsets that paint the horizon in colors of orange and yellow. Here, ultimate peace flows from the absence of central control. No governments meddling, no banks extracting fees, no exchanges holding your keys. It's a world built on self-sovereignty, where your hex thrives in pure freedom. Imagine yourself walking along the beach, feeling the warm sand between your toes, grounding you like the immutable smart contracts of Hex. These contracts are forever unchangeable, etched into the blockchain like ancient runes in stone, resistant to any interference. Now visualize your staking ladder unfolding before you, a path of glowing hexagons leading you into the jungle's heart. Each stake represents trustless yield, rewards generated automatically without needing permission from anyone. No middlemen, just executing code flawlessly, privately. In Hexaco, this privacy is like the dense canopy overhead, protective and impenetrable. Now, as you venture deeper, you encounter fellow Hexicans gathered in a sacred circle amid the towering trees. Your community is strong, forged in shared belief and unbreakable bonds. You see many friendly faces. Among them, a pirate, a doctor, a cowboy, a crispy man, a wild lady, a magic lady, a man with coffee, a man smoking nuclear herbs, an Ewok, and finally a strange creature with pegged nipples. And of course, the leader of them all, a genius man who twerks and has immense love and immense knowledge beyond comprehension as he leads us into the great future. You smile and nod, feeling the warmth of camaraderie together. You've chosen Hex because it's a better Bitcoin. It's scarcer, more rewarding, designed for holders who resist the urge to cheat impulsively. Unlike the fleeting traders on Solana, Hex teaches delayed gratification, where patience blooms into abundance. Here, you affirm your trust in yourself and your God, not governments with their regulations, not banks with their manipulations, nor centralized exchanges with their vulnerabilities. Your Hex is yours alone, self-custodied, unseizable. Feel the profound peace washing over you like the ocean's tide. Nothing can take this from you. It's in your control, powered by your conviction. Center yourself in this circle and place a hand over your heart and silently affirm, I stake my hex with intention. It is my trustless fortress, private, immutable, yielding rewards on my terms. I trust myself and my God. No external force can claim it. I embrace delayed gratification, stronger than any impulse. Now let this truth infuse you with hope, like sunlight piercing the leaves, illuminating your path through any dips. And when you're ready, gently retreat from Hexaco. Wiggle your fingers and toes and reconnect them with the here and now. Let's inhale deeply one last time. Exhale fully and open your eyes slowly. Remember, you're carrying Hexaco's peace, your community's bond, and your unshakable purpose. Now return to this meditation anytime the doubt creeps in. And remember, your Hex journey is rooted in enduring strength. This concludes the meditation for today. I thank you all for participating, and I wish peace upon you all in this week of Hex. Thank you. Goodbye.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Oh,
You're welcome.
Free Brandon, you're back.
I'm back.
That's
All right, I got
it. There we go. Okay. Yes, thank you. I know you got a busy day today. I appreciate it, and thanks for coming to play the video. As a meditation fan, it's amazing to see you come up with one like that. That's pretty cool, man.
I know all my writing skills.
Yeah, I was like, is that AI or did you write it? I'm curious now.
That's some things you got to keep secret, you know.
Okay. Secret safe on live.
I've got a proprietary blend.
I hear you. Awesome, man. Well, thank you again, and come on. If you got time later, hop on the Hex panel any day this week. It's open to everyone. Doesn't have to have your name on it, but if you feel free, hop on. And otherwise, I'll see you later.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. See ya. All right, that was awesome. Great segue into the next one as well. We'll get pumped up a little bit though. We went to the lows. We went to the lows. The good, like good vibrations. Let's get pumped up a little bit. I'm gonna play a song that I got produced a couple years ago or so. Pretty good. Let's get it pumped back up. And we'll get Joyful Danish in here. Here we go. This is RH Max coming at you with a message for all the crypto space out there. We want true DeFi, no admin keys. Get rich slow, wait, and you shall receive. See, trustlessly, just pay the gas, be no trustee. You do the work, you hold the keys, you buy because you believe. UHNW, I live free. Choosing healthy games keeps me feeling complete. You see, you look around, there's nothing better to believe, to hope for, to put your money where your dreams are, to watch it multiply by yourself, time to figure out who you want to be. But first break free from the NPC society. Riches in it for glory, in it to win it. Nothing's gonna stop my Hex gang, stand up! Pulse chase the big pump of metal. Remember where it came from. Delayed gratification and virgin power law distribution. If compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, what's that make Hex then?
Number 9, number 1.
If you're hearing this, you're still early.
Can you hear me?
If you're hearing this, there's still hope.
You are in.
Richer minting millionaires like the Federal Reserve. Except we make the rules, so we get out what we put in.
Plus interest.
This man is on a mission. Work really is play. Hexing's are his posse, he will show us all the way. Red Bull sponsorship is coming out the way. Outrage market is effective and okay. Hex, Pulse, X, Flex, Tex, Mex. Which one do you like best? Which one can't you forget? Which one you have next? Name me something better than owning your own time. Generational wealth, do it now, it's game time. Richard's in it for glory, in it to win it. Nothing's gonna stop my Hex gang, stand up. Pulse change the big pump of metal. Remember where it came from. Delayed gratification, inversion, power law, distribution. If compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, what's that make Hex then?
Number 9, number 1.
If you're hearing this, you're still early.
Can you hear me?
If you're hearing this, there's still hope.
You are in.
Richard minting millionaires like the Federal Reserve, except we make the rules so we get out what we put in.
Plus
38% APY. No IOUs, only 6-figure ACHs. Maximus Hedron locking tons of T-shares. Positive feedback loops make us go next level. Pulse chain is the pump of metal. Tech and price performance mean the X's will be several. Richard's in it for glory, in it to win it. Nothing's gonna stop my Hex gang, stand up. Pulse change the big pump of metal. Remember where it came from. Delayed gratification, inversion, power law, distribution. If compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, what's that make Hex then?
Number 9, number 1.
If you're hearing this, you're still early.
Can you hear me?
If you're hearing this, there's still hope.
You are in.
Richard minting millionaires like the Federal Reserve, except we make the rules so we get out what we put in.
Plus
Stake it till you make it sci-fi. I ain't just talking. You have all you need in front of you. Difference between a Lambo and just walking. Fixing money, fix the world. Best version of yourself. Wise, extend your prime. Survive, no better yet, thrive. Crypto's how you get to the how and why. Richard ain't a god, but he's got the twerk of an angel.
That's great.
RH Maximism is the name of the game. Play it to win or don't play in the first place. What's that make Hex in number 9 or number 1? What's up, Joel for Danish?
Hello.
You appear frozen,
Nice.
but I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can definitely hear you, but your face is
Okay.
very, very. There we go. We're back. We're back.
Okay.
You were doing a poker face. It was great though.
Ah, well. All right. Awesome. Well, the meditation and the overlap. I mean, it's a great start, you know.
It's you. You have the best. You've had the best segue so far. You've had the meditation and then the pump up music, and now we got your talk. So I love it, man. Take it away. Take it away.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about how to stake your health, Hex style. So some of it is a little bit funny. I mean, for example, longer pays better. The longer you invest in good sleep, the better your health interest compounds. Don't get wrecked. Ignoring exercise and diet is like rock pull on your body. Early end stake penalties. Quit your health habits too soon and your gains disappear. So we're going to continue a little bit with these, but then I even have some ideas in mind because I actually made a book, Crypto People's Health Playbook, and there's some exercises. So please say, write in the comments if you have some favorites, both with these funny, what can you say, Hex lingo, health ideas, or at least to think about stuff, you know. But you decide what kind of some of these exercises we maybe should end with by this talk before we end out. I have one that is about how you actually can impact your minds and get better sleep by what you actually think before you go to sleep. And another exercise is overloading in a bear market and in a bull market. So how can you kind of track that? And then another one can be check in on what supports your decision making. You know, that can be kind of very stressful if you don't have that in place. And the last one, the inner courtroom, how to win your mental judge, just like Hex did it with ACC. And I mean, a lot of these things I'm going to say, I mean, if you can believe in Santa Claus for 10 years, you can believe in yourself for 10 seconds, you know. We got to start somewhere. So let's continue a little bit with some of these a little bit lighter and a little bit more fun inputs just to get you rolling, guys, you know. Because APY can also be like annual physical yield. Get yearly health checkups to track your returns. I know especially us as men, maybe not really doing that much about that, but it's actually worth it, you know. And it's like maintaining your car. It's a great way to actually check up like, okay, is everything actually okay? Because a lot of things is actually preventative. A lot of these different health and lifestyle diseases can actually be catch on if it's actually found early. Pulse chain, pulse check. So monitor your heart rate, blood pressure, and stress. If you're already wearing a wearable, great, David. You still believe in Santa. Awesome. Then you can definitely also believe in yourself, you know? So that's awesome. Yeah, just keep the comments flowing. It's all good. Gas fees. Junk food is the hidden transaction fee you pay on your health chain. So you could meal prep, you know, meal prep, friend slip, you know. We are waiting for the mail. Healthy swaps, you know, snack alternatives. You can actually use AI to get some ideas if you're like completely blank and don't have any ideas where to start, you know, but you want to make a change. Try to chit chat back and forth and you'll get some ideas, you know. It's free, it's available, and yeah, it's just an idea, you know, because whales or shrimp doesn't matter. If you're a health whale or a shrimp, start staking something daily, you know. Small habits is better than nothing, you know. It kind of makes me already want to talk a little bit of one of the exercises because it went a little bit fast, and again, we don't have so much time. So, in order to pump as much value into this, I might as well go into that because the inner courtroom, you know, when you turn the words judgmental around, you get a mental judge. So you kind of both the prosecuted and the offended and the judge, all in your mind, you know. So a lot of these different ideas about health and wellness and meditation, like we already saw with Brandon and so on. Sure, all great ideas. Most of us already know this, and we maybe should do it, but maybe don't practice it, you know. It's just not enough, you know, going to the gym and like, okay, I can see how it's done. Now I know that. So then I don't have to do it, you know. Um, I hear amazing things, questions one can ask. Yeah, please ask some question. And I mean, when we go to the courtroom, I made like a a worksheet, you know, I use with my clients um, as to prevent um, rejection, you know. So like with the SEC, you know, so we don't lose the case. How do you actually win the case for your mind, you know? So to help prevent believable um, to present believable evidence to your inner judge when starting or changing habits, remove your inner barriers and reducing internal resistance and win your inner court case. So, some of the things you can try to be aware of when you try to propose a new idea, right, to your mind, like, oh, this could be nice to do. Uh, what pops up? So, I kind of made it in three different categories. Is it red, yellow, or green? So, yellow, for example, this means that the judge rejects the idea that you come up with. Yeah, how do you find out all about your work? Well, you can check out Joyful Danish at the social media or joyfuldanish.com. So the reds, the judge rejects. The judge don't believe the evidence. So that can be, for example, you already said that it needs to succeed 100%, or I don't even want to try. Um, or it's like a vague goal. I just want to be healthier. Isn't that specific enough? You know, and maybe you have a lot of motivation, and so on, but it's just not really going to cut it. You know, if it's not like, where's the evidence? Where can we see in the past, like, oh, I would like to start running, right? You haven't exercised in 3 months, you know, so there's no evidence. So, um, yellow category could be then tiny habits. As a yellow category, judge thinks that the evidence is plausible. So this is like, this could actually be, there's an openness, you know, you're starting to see that the barrier could be removed, and thereby you could actually start to maybe seeing and starting the process of a change, you know. And that could be, for example, tiny habits. Start with 2 push-ups. Sounds ridiculous, right? But do that every day, and eventually you'll think, this is ridiculous. I can do 4. After some time, this is ridiculous. I can do 8. And thereby you slowly build up, you know. And in the past, you see suddenly when you present it to the judge, your inner judge, you have evidence that, yeah, I guess if you already done this, you can maybe also do this. If you add a little bit more, sure. All right. And it can also be like, let's just take one more example here. Energy boost. Moving helps my mind. So if you actually get the rewards fairly quickly by doing certain tasks, even though they're very small, it can actually be a great, again, evidence building, but also um, dopamine releasing. Never thought decision making will grow while building habits or setting goals and a higher ladder. That's great. Yeah, thank you, Condor. And the green, the last one. David Morales. Sometimes doesn't matter if the evidence is there. Denialism, no matter what the evidence shows. Yes, we're going to counter that in a moment in the next exercise I'm going to share with you. But let's finish the green one first. The green evidence again. This is just invitations, open invitations for you to play around to actually make your mind, your judge, play against you for the better, you know. So, yeah, how can you win over your inner judge, right? Because otherwise, if you're in denialism, you're kind of working against your inner courtroom. But can you turn that around? Yes. If you look at the green and the last category, the judge, again, it's categorized with the judge believe the evidence, and thereby you can actually start to applying the actions you want to do. So one of the examples can be in the green. You already done this before, already jogged before, or make some small runs. All right. Another one, I have the skill. I already know how to do this, how to cook. Past success. I did yoga for 30 days once. Okay, so maybe I can do small running every day for 30 days. I mean, yeah, it could be happening. Prepared. I have checklist ready. I know what I actually need in order to make this happen and get started. So you get the idea. All right. And again, overall, what's the purpose and use case? It helps you to imagine your mind as an inner judge who evaluates every habit change you propose. And to win the case, you must present strong evidence, avoid weak and unrealistic claims, and make your new habits feel achievable. Is it a fun and effective mindset shift to build lasting behavioral change? All right, let's take a few more before we go to the denialism and like the negative and the pessimistic kind of attitude that sometimes also can be a barrier for things to actually improve for the better, right? So FOMO, fear of missing out on sleep, ruins your health portfolio. So prioritize rest, make a sleep schedule, kind of sleep at the same time, and so on. So you actually have a better chance for your body to actually give you proper rest. Um, Hodl your habits. Consistency beats intensity. Do daily rituals, small wins, patient. So again, 2 push-ups every day is better than nothing. If you haven't done anything for 4 months, this is a place to start, you know. Back to the courtroom, you're starting to gather evidence, you know. And all right, what do we else have here? Liquidity pool. Sweat is proof of work. Hydrate to refill your pool. So remember to drink water, you know. Many of these people who are in crypto, they work in front of a computer all day, but they forget to actually go to the bathroom, stay hydrated, eat healthy food and whatnot, and actually have some small movements. It's important, you know. For example, this is actually another little funny thing, I guess. It looks weird, right? But give me a second here. This is perfect for your lower back to both so like either massage or for your feet to stimulate the blood flow while you're still working anyway, you know. And it's actually also pretty great for the neck and for your spine. Simply laying in your bed or on a mattress, and you have certain pains in your back, this is really great. And you can find this if you just yeah, many people think that I was holding something else for a moment. If you search for like, what is it, peanut shape massage, ball, then it should come up. And it's like very cheap. It's like few dollars. So yeah. But I use it actually. Yeah, dirty mind. Yeah, people have it, you know. All right, let's take a few more before we take the next exercise. Okay, airdrops. Unexpected good health is the result of daily micro investments, you know. So actually get fresh air, you know. Take walk breaks. Stay hydrated. Do stretching, you know. Often when you feel suddenly that your body is like irritating and aching, that is actually your body kind of give you a hint that hey, we've been sitting here for quite a while now. Could be nice to be certain movements, stretches and whatnot. So yeah, you get the idea. Stay and chill. When you balance health and wealth, you can relax about your crypto bags. So stress relief is important. For example, I do a lot of sauna and cold plunges. It's a great way to actually do that. If it's not that accessible to you, then finish your bath when you go to a shower in the morning. Make the last 1 or 2 minutes cold. That's also a great way. All right. And what do we else have? Token burn. Bad habits eventually burn your energy supply. So reduce alcohol, cut sugar, limit junk food, and manage stress. Quit smoking. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. So let's go back to the what was it we was talking about? Denialism, you know. It is a big thing, you know, and I kind of get it. And I actually presented this at the conference last time, but I will happily show it again because I can really see that this is actually a great exercise for many people to apply. And this is a little bit different than a traditional, like you know, like those traditional gratefulness practices. You either write it or journal, whatever. And I know I kind of feel like the same. I'm not going to do that. And it's like, oh yeah, I can write the same 5 things today like yesterday. You know, it gets boring, you know. So what I did, and I think this is going to work for you guys as well. And again, back to the denialism and negativity and yeah, the not so supportive mindset. And that's okay if that's where you are. But this is for you guys. Unpleasant gratefulness practice. This is a form of gratefulness that is often driven by fear. For example, I'm grateful for that this did not happen to me, or this is not in my life, or I didn't have to do that thing in my life. So, why does that matter? Well, if you think about the next day's worries and problems, you cut your deep sleep in half. So it is an advantage to actually think about the good things that will happen when you go to sleep. This is from a Danish doctor, Bo Netterstrøm. And what I made here is an adjustment because, again, if you're maybe not there and things can be a little bit too positively and hippie, this is maybe a way to start, you know? So here's the exercise. And I actually do this, and I've been doing this for, I don't know, over 5-6 years maybe. I usually only do it at night in the evening. Find as before you actually go to sleep, you lay there on your pillow and you think about 3 to 5 things that that you are, well, in this case, ungrateful for, that didn't happen to you and that's not in your life and you didn't have to do X, Y, Z that day. So that can be, for example, well, I mean, today I didn't have any pain. Well, my home is not burned down, you know. Well, I mean, I'm not blind. Well, I didn't become homeless. You know, I don't live in a dangerous place where there's war and stuff like that. And again, it can just be stuff where you feel like that, okay, well, it's a small thing, but yeah, I guess that's nice. That's not happening to me. um, where you saw certain documentaries. I saw one the other day. Did you guys know that you have a phobia for everything that is in a certain direction? So you can have a phobia for and be scared of everything that is to the left of your side, and another phobia where you are afraid of everything to the right side. So you can't even look to the right side. So you have to look you have to turn around on the left. Yeah, crazy stuff, you know. But that's some of the things that I kind of can see that, yeah, sometimes I still do blend in the ungrateful gratefulness. We all know it as well with we watch TV, right? There's like, I wish it was me TV, and the opposite, right? I'm happy that that's not me TV, you know? All right, you get the picture. And then you can then later on slowly, gradually change that or start to blend it with, you guess it, to the reverse, the pleasant, grateful part, where you think about 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for in your life and that has happened to you. But here's the kicker, and this is what makes the exercise stay fresh, even to me after so many years. It has to be from that same day. You cannot reuse from something that you're still kind of grateful for that happened yesterday, but that should not count for some of the 3 to 5 things that you find today. So again, you don't have to write it down. You can just simply do it as a mental exercise just before you're actually starting to anyway think about your day and whatnot. And then you're actually going to improve your sleep. And this actually also have another great bonus. When you finally get that big gains that we're all kind of waiting for, then it's nice that we can still appreciate the small things. Because that's the other thing, right? Suddenly, great, have all this money, but you're still not really that happy. Well, you could be, you know? So that's the thing. Like, if you can actually be content and actually be satisfied with what you have today, it becomes so much easier to actually be much more grateful and happier for whatever you have in your life, even if it's a lot or not so much. Okay, another comment. Any speaker talking about the Richard Rehart meme narrative? It's literally the most obvious setup by Richard. Would love a speaker on it. Nice work, Joyful Danish. Well, thank you, 30. I don't know if there's some meme narratives, but yeah, that is definitely also something that I can see. I actually made a video about it on my YouTube channel, Joyful Danish, about this, about memes. Like, can that even be therapy? And what's the purpose of it even? And yeah, I recommend some certain movies and so on. So it is definitely an interesting topic because some people use it as a coping, you know. The Pepe and all these different memes, you know. It's interesting. All right, and let's get, because we only have a few minutes left. Do we have any questions actually related to all this? Then please shoot it away. Susie, I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing qualities through multiple resources on a continuous basis. Yes, affirmations can work great as well, sure. But for people, again, who maybe are not so open to that or that's a little bit far away, I can also recommend to look into declarations. If you Google that, declarations, those are sort of like statements that is harder for the mind, again, the judge, to reject. So those are certain statements that is like, yeah, it could be true. So again, if it's like a barrier, like, yeah, all the money comes to me, yeah, I feel so rich and so on, and you're sitting there eating a hamburger in your underwear and like on your couch, maybe it doesn't feel so believable, you know. Uh, but again, it's about creating evidence and start small, you know. So declarations, or if you're more open to it, affirmations. So declarations, yeah, thank you, Ferdy. Could be, for example, if it's about related to money, could be my capacity to hold and manage money expands by day by day, day by day. And you can then connect that with a concrete action with like that you actually have a certain saving account. One guy that I actually looked at was kind of interesting, was called T. Harv Eker. and he had a whole, I think it's called the jar system. That could be kind of interesting, maybe for some people to look into. But in that way, again, try to play with what works for your inner courtroom of like how you actually can start to change some of these things if you want to improve it, you know. So yeah, but look more into the decorations. All right, I will look more into some of these more funny hex lingo, how to stake your health statements. So, cold storage. Keep healthy meals prepped in the freezer. Your real cold wallet for your body. So, yeah, that can be, of course, be meal preparation, frozen veggies, or batches of cooking, healthy soups, storage containers, stuff like that. I even saw this was actually kind of interesting, like Tetris kind of, or like Lego blocks kind of made food. So the same container so like has ice creams, but these were just bigger, where you then could put like rice or beans or meat, chicken or whatever in like blocks of food. So then when you wanted to then collect your meal, you could then just take one slice here, one of rice, one of beans, one of chicken, and then mix it, microwave or whatever. Boom, you have food. That was kind of smart. It's almost like Lego kind of making your own food. So that was a little bit of an idea of making meal preparation a bit more creative. Just throwing out there. All right. Any more questions or any? Yeah, because does this any of this make any sense to you guys? Because yeah, there's so much, you know, but you can only
I like it.
much.
I like it. Well, you were saying earlier about about your body needing rest and like you listen to your body type of thing, and that's really good too.
It really is. How do you listen to your body?
Yeah, I was going to say some of us do it better than others. I tend to I don't know. I tend to just push through a lot of things. I'm tired or whatever. It's just like just keep going. Like I want to get stuff done. I'm like very proactive in a lot of ways too. And I've just the way a lot of my values are just like, hey, just get it done. You can rest later type of deal. But yeah, it does. Oh, but then at the same time, I like to, treat myself. I like to, take care of my body, and I get plenty of, have a pretty good diet, good exercise routine, a lot of different things like that. So yeah, meditation, I like meditation as well on that side. And so like physical, mental, all that stuff. I try to take care of, like, it's like I go hard. It's like work hard, play hard type of deal. But mostly more work hard, and more of just like relax as you can type of thing. So that's the way I currently, my routine is set up. How about you though?
A little bit similar, like you say, like as I have a certain training routine, and then again the saunas and the cold plunges. I really like that. Seems to be a very effective way to really, relax the body. If you switch in between cold and warm, that's a very effective way to kind of decompress the whole nervous system. Meditation and walk at the beach. Just listen to the waves and go barefoot in the sand. It's really grounding, very effective as well.
Touch grass, touch sand, touch trees.
Yeah, yeah. Touch nature. Yeah, touch humans. Consent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just having those those relationships, having either friends or family or just people around that you enjoy talking to and can lift you up and kind of, bounce ideas off of and all that stuff is good. And it's one thing I like about streaming too, is it's not, there's a way to talk to other people. And I mean, I talk to other people in life as well, but it's cool where you can talk to people all across the world, just yourself, and see what they're into, see what they're doing, get feedback for your ideals and otherwise. And even if you disagree or not interested or whatever, it's having that kind of like connection and grounding almost. It's like, the social interaction, I think is very important. And it can be, depending on if you're introvert, extrovert, all that stuff too, it can be exhausting. It can be a lot of work. Or it can be people like prefer they feed off the energy type of deal too. So everyone's kind of got their thing, but yeah, definitely connecting with nature. I love doing that. Any like disconnecting from devices, which is hard to do these days, especially it's almost ironic, whatever the word is, like as a streamer, as someone who, you know, is pretty active on X and stuff. It's like, funny enough, I do try to literally like not look at my phone, stay away from the computer as much as I can, unless I'm working on something. But when I do, it's kind of like I'm like zoned in. I'm doing that thing. I'm going to go, oh, I got a bunch of memes. Let me go through, post them, put a funny remark on it, whatever. Or if I'm going to stream, I'm going to be like into that for an hour, 2 hours, 7.5 hours today, whatever. So there's a balance, but yeah, it's one of those, I don't know. It's good to connect with nature and avoid getting alerted and buzzed and notifications all the time. It's something it's very hard to do in the modern world, but it's worth, you know, try not to, at least.
Nice.
All right, Joyful Danish. Hopefully you're gonna come back for the Hex panel in a couple hours or so, or
Yeah.
if you want to. Yeah.
I mean, it is quite late here already, but yeah, it could
that's
be.
right.
Yeah.
if you're up for it, in about an hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half, something like that, 7:15 Eastern time, we got a Hex panel, and it's open to everyone. Of course, you're welcome to join as well.
All right. Cool. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Daniel. See you later.
See you. Take care.
Awesome. Love this conference. Love the panels. A lot of great fun stuff. What have we did today as far as, oh yeah, we gotta play this one. Here we go. C3 works. You're back.
Hey, I'm back. Thanks for bringing me back. And I don't know, that is one crazy image. That's just, how do you get that out of your mind anytime soon? I don't think you do.
Well, sir, have you seen the modified version of the image 321?
I'm afraid to ask. Oh my goodness.
That would, yes, indeed. Your guess of that is Richard Hart on Vitalik Buterin, an old dilapidated tech of Ethereum versus the new up and coming Pulse chain, going to dominate season 3.
Love it.
No matters.
All these visual images create powerful communications, and that's why memes work so well. And tyrants around the world hate that, but we like it.
They do. I'm definitely more into memes, the meme coins, but everyone, it's kind of like there's a whole other dimension, and people love to take these ideas and put them as a ticker as well. But my go-to thing is just it took a long time to get this right. I had to go back and forth several times, and finally he wanted to put Richard's face on the white one, and I'm like, no, I gotta get it like this, and this was the best one I came up with. So I do enjoy generating memes and sharing them, and it gets that hopefully get the green candles going. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's right. And that's a nice touch with to have the old man Vitalik.
Yeah, he's a very young man right now, but well, actually, I say one day he'll be older. Longevity research, we're gonna try to invent it. Vitalik, we're gonna try to make you younger as well. I'm sure. I think that's the interest of yours. He's donated to the Sins Foundation, I believe, before as well. So we're on the same team on that one. But Vitalik, you may never look that way. May you never look that way, Vitalik, and Richard as well. How about that? All right, I'm gonna hop off for a minute. I'll put up whatever on screen. I'll come back in a few minutes. Does that sound good?
Yeah, let me just get the screen shared if that's okay.
Yeah. Screen shared. I'll hop back in. Give me like 10 minutes or so. I'll come back.
Here we go. I'm off as long as I'm sharing.
Oh.
Let's make sure you can see me first.
Boom. All right.
Am I
see you soon.
fully up there?
Oh yeah. Yep. You're good.
All right, I'm off.
Yep. See you soon.
All right. Well, good afternoon again, everybody. C3 Works here. Happy to be back. For those that might not have caught me the first time, I'm the co-founder of the Actuator Protocol. And if you don't know anything about what that is, I've got a session on Friday, I believe, where we'll be doing it from the beginner's perspective, you know, the what is actuator. And please join me then. I'd love to explain from ground zero what that is. And I think we have a panel then as well. But this session is about building on Hex. I think that's probably in part because we're a fairly recent project that came and has built on Hex. And so, you know, I'm gonna offer you some perspectives from a co-founder perspective of a team that just did this, try to see if I can't encourage other founders to be thoughtful on things they might do. But I want to begin the session here with a quiz. You ready? So here's the quiz. We're going to see how strong you are at your macroeconomics. So this is a quick macroeconomic lesson for the day. We're going to create intense personal interest. What are the 4 factors of production? No cheating, but I'm going to give you context while you think. If you want to write something down, just make a mental note, that's fine. But the 4 factors of production from a macroeconomic standpoint are what economists for many years have held out, at least conservative economists, have held out as being absolutely vital to the creation and sustaining of any economy. Now think about that for a minute. The creating and sustaining of any economy. Maybe it's just a small settlement in the wilderness. Maybe it's a small city-state somewhere following a vanquished nation. Maybe it's something like a special economic zone that somebody wants to create in a virtualized nation. You see where I'm going with this? The history of the world is replete. Nations need this. And by the way, when tyrants want to destroy a nation, guess what they target? These 4 factors of production. Because if they can take one of these out or more, you lose an economy, you lose a nation. So I think the first starting point here is I want to highlight what these are. And obviously you're going to draw the conclusion that I'm mapping this onto our Hex community, and you would be right. And that's a really important thing to understand, whether you're a founder, whether you're a participant and community member, whoever you are, it's really important to understand. So you've had a few minutes to come up with what you think the 4 factors are without which an economy doesn't function. So I'm going to give them to you here. Number 1, land. You must have land. Now, what is land? Land doesn't always necessarily mean physical land, though in many cases it does. You can't build a factory for manufacturing if you don't have land, right? What would be the equivalent of land in this new world of digital assets and crypto and networks and, you know, all of the things we have? Well, land might mean things like servers and server farms and places to put the server farms and the validators and all of the things that you have to have control of to be able to maintain a network. What would be number 2? These are not in order, by the way. They're just 4 particular things you have to have. Labor. You have to have people to do stuff. And it's not just people to do stuff. It's people with critical skills to do stuff, right? So that's a critical one. A third one is capital. You can have all this other stuff that you want, but if you don't have capital, somebody hasn't produced before that they have money to deploy into something, then it's tough to run an economy. And if they can take that away, it's going to die. And the fourth one, entrepreneurship. Believe it or not, you need to have people with the skills of entrepreneurship. They're willing to take and manage risks. They're willing to coordinate and build. They're willing to lead from the front. They're willing to deploy capital in efficient ways, make adjustments, set vision, clear obstacles, and produce. So those are what the 4 of those are. As you see this, think about our Hex community. Think about the broader Pulse Chain community for that matter. Think about what Richard Hart has done. And he plainly understands these things. And he set forth a path for us with this Hex protocol, which is far more than just a protocol, and now with the entirety of the pulse chain ecosystem, to enable an economy to form that has all these things, some of which he had to supply in the beginning, in fact, probably most of them. But at this point, we are trying to blossom out as a community. And so one important thing from this macroeconomic lesson here on building on Hex is to know what we're trying to build. Well, whatever we're aiming at in the form of becoming a Hexaco, becoming a special economic zone, anywhere you want to go with it, these four are in here. And it's not essential that everybody does all four. That isn't the point. The point is that everybody does something. And we've all got different skills and gifts and things to apply. So with those things in mind, hopefully that gave you a framework to think about how at least our team thinks about building on Hex. Is we're building a community that is actually an economy, and we need to target those things in different ways. So now some more concrete kinds of things. I'm going to go through how our team experienced building on Hex and what we look forward to in sort of 4 quick topics. The first will be lessons learned. What kinds of things have we learned by developing actuator protocol over the last couple of years, like we have, and what we're seeing at this point? Our number 2 thing I'll cover will be some objectives and decision points that builders need to have, things that you want to have in mind as you plan your course. Third would be, what are some of the benefits of building on Hex? Well, here's a clue. I just gave you the primary ones. The 4 factors of production are present. That's a big benefit. You go to other communities, 1 or more of those are missing, lacking, or inadequate. And then the 4th thing that I'll cover a little bit today from our team's perspective would be ideas for future development. Some things that our team is trying to incubate and kick around, and some things that if we could just inspire others down that path, great, just so that they might occur. So here we go. Let's consider the first topic of some lessons learned. And you can see I've got them there. One is keep and preserve the ethos. The Hex community, and again, by extension to the pulse chain, we really have a phenomenal ethos. It's one that embodies those 4 factors of production that I mentioned. But we know that it has to be done in the right way. We want trustless systems. We want self-custody, no middlemen. We want audited. We don't want to be fooled by bad code. We want no admin keys. These are things that flow like blood through the veins of those 4 factors of production that strengthen like sinews would to the muscles and hold all that together. We don't want to sacrifice these dimensions if we want to build a strong and vibrant economy like we are. Second thing I think we learned very early is, look, this is a team sport. So get connected. And we've got some excellent development communities or teams out there. I mean, I won't even start to name them because I'd feel bad that I missed so many of them that are obvious. But we've got some really skilled developers, many of whom are actually in this conference. So get connected if you're a new dev or a dev that's trying to get into this community and do something, and learn about lessons learned and how to go about different things. For the rest, community, I'd encourage the community to speak up, right? We've got developers all over the place, and they're going through this ideation process of what's going to serve the community. Well, everybody listening within the sound of my voice is the community. And you've got to say, you've got something in mind, and maybe an ideation. The ideation comes from you. You might comment to someone you know, and it starts something rolling, and pretty soon innovation unfolds. So get connected, stay connected, and everybody should speak up within the community to people that you know to plant seeds. A third lesson here when you're building on Hex is you need to involve the counsel of others. I'll tell you, it was a real benefit and a blessing to our team as we did that and connected with folks like Randy Hilarski's group and the No Permissions folks, and everybody there was super valuable and still are in helping us weigh up different things or examine things. There are some counselors that we spoke with within the community about liquidity providing? How do you structure your tokenomics? What are, can we do a proof of concept? What about marketing? We've got some marketing experts, things that could be done. So involve that in the early stages so that you're not just, get a hunch, bet a bunch, and charge down a path that is ill-conceived. I think a fourth thing on lessons learned, which sometimes goes unrecognized, but as we reflected on it, the importance of documentation. Believe it or not, and if you go to, I'd encourage you to go to docs.actuator.finance, you'll see fairly thorough documents. I mean, we've heard that from many sources. They're thorough. Our intent was to make sure not only that you get user knowledge, right? You want primary sources for users to rely on, because we live in a world of deceptions, right? Deceit, deception, phishing, and all this stuff. You need to provide people with primary sources, contract addresses, all the things from places where they're not trusting what somebody typed into some crazy Discord group somewhere. So that was important.
Just to build on that too, I think the two best things I've seen projects do is have one, like the breadth of knowledge, the breadth of like the user, the base of where you can find stuff, the contract addresses, how the functions work, examples, all that stuff. And then also the quick hitting, actuator in 5 minutes, or 30 seconds or less explanation, the elevator pitch, like the stuff. I think for the devs, like one side really deep information for the devs, and the other side a very easy to process for just your average person or crypto person or someone who's not a dev to just understand it really quickly, so they get interested enough to keep digging in and following the project and stuff. They may never look at the dev docs, but they want to understand the product because it may fix some use case for them. So having those two things is what I've seen is really, really good.
And that's an excellent point. In fact, to tie back to the last thing I just said, was getting the counsel of others. We had others give us that counsel. And so if you were to go to the just plain actuator.finance, you'll see that we have some of those things. We have the 5-minute YouTube clips on specific things. And those came because people pointed out, just like you did, how important they were. And so we end up putting them in there. And that's really important stuff. Awesome. One last thing there is you get to see some use cases and AI indexing, right? The better your docs with use cases, it makes it concrete and real. And of course, the AI agents can figure out how to put together stuff that is helpful to people because you've provided that input.
Just one on the ethos too. I mean, this is such a Hex focus. This is like before Pulse Chain with Hex, everything, it was just like, you have to tick the box, or like no one's going to pay attention to it. It's got to be trusted. It's got to be self-custody. Got to be audited. No admin keys. I think after Pulse Chain, there's been a lot of experimentation, and some better and some worse, with having some sort of admin keys or some sort of centralization, or maybe audits aren't as important, or they're too expensive, or in the age of AI, are they even worth doing, and all that stuff. Now, where is the right balance there? Like, do you think that is there any room for going outside or a spectrum on the ethos, or what do you think is people building on Hex today? Like, what's the right way to do it? And like, what are some of the, not shortcuts, but like, what are some of the is there any flexibility there as well to make it easier to build on it, or more enticing or otherwise?
Yeah. And that's a smart question. Again, I'm not trying to be prescriptive here. I'm trying to describe what our experience was and what our aim point would be. I think the reality is there might be room, right? And that comes down to a lot of counselors and a lot of conversation. It may be that there's a need to have some limited key for some limited period of time. I'm not a developer myself, right? I certainly have a team of them, so I'm not speaking from that standpoint, but I can anticipate there could be some reasonable use cases, but I suspect that they're arrived at with great care and an ability to demonstrate relinquishing of those at appropriate times. But if you're going to go that route, you've got an even higher duty to document, be open source, get outside reviews of your code, and do a lot of things. So I wouldn't try to be proscriptive. I would just simply say that's the standard to aim at, and where the cost benefit has some limited spin up condition, hey, we'll leave that to the devs. I'm not one.
Yeah, I think just with the that bear market and all that stuff, I think it's just so easy to start making trade-offs. I mean, people, and of course it's on Pulse Chain too. Not everything's built on Hex, and there's a billion different ideas of fun and interesting things to build on Pulse Chain. But I really like this ethos. I like the trustless, self-custody audited, no admin keys, and staying as far on that spectrum as possible, I think is really a good thing. It saves a lot of mistakes or problems or expectations or otherwise down the line. Like I'm not even a lot of the centralized, there's different projects that go on Pulse Chain that are more centralized or less centralized. It's always initially, at least, unless there's a super good reason for this or that. It's for me, I mean, I prefer the DeFi part. It's either a turn off or I'm just not interested, or it's like, man, like this feels like just we're getting away from the ethos because we don't trust that there's gonna be another bull run, or we gotta start playing short-term games because we've been beaten down so much by red candle syndrome and stuff. And I hope we do steer back towards that.
You're right. I mean, the risk is, why are we doing it? What are we sacrificing it for in those cases where we believe it's necessary? Often it's time. We really want to try to catch something. Well, shortcuts aren't great. That's where people get hurt. But I think with enough scrutiny, maybe you get to the right answer, whatever that is. But it's plainly the aim point is where I'm at.
Definitely the North Star. I like that.
Yeah. So there's lessons learned. So a next set of things were some objectives and decisions. What and why do we build on Hex? I'll just make a couple subpoints here. One, I'm of the mind that if you're actually building on Hex, that's a targeting of utility. Grow the city. Add to the factors of production somehow. What is it that we're doing to either help the flywheel spin faster, add more value to the projects that are already there so that they're now riding in fourth gear, not first gear on the bike? Do something that's useful there. Doesn't mean that, there's plenty of places for meme coins and things like that, but it's probably in the broader Hex the broader Pulse Chain ecosystem, but probably not being built on top of Hex itself, because I contend that Hex is developing into a reserve asset for Pulse Chain, and that reserve asset is best served with utility. And the second point here is, if you're building on Hex, stay Hex centric, right? Don't try to build your own world and sort of piggyback it on Hex like some vampire attacks of the community sort of have done in days gone by. Stay Hex centric, shine the light there, and that flywheel that you're amplifying and helping will get stronger because it's already got these factors of production. And the broader Pulse Chain can do all kinds of other things, but this reserve asset scenario has a very special place.
What are just on that? What is some ways that are examples of just in general ways that building on Hex helps Hex, and then other ways that building on Hex is just kind of like, it's just kind of, you've got, it's just related to Hex. We hope it helps Hex, but it doesn't. There's no direct helping of Hex. Like, like Hedron Maximus, all the actuator, all this stuff. I see those as directly building on to help Hex, to give it some function, provide some utility or otherwise. But like, what is the difference between those and projects that just like they're Hex related? There's some hope it'll help Hex, be generous with good intentions, it'll help Hex, but they're not built on Hex to help Hex.
Well, I would parse it this way. I'm going to save part of that answer. Good questions, Max, for the lower portion of what I'm going to say, because I think some of it I'll speak to down there. But I wouldn't want to try to carve away the people that are intending to help Hex, but they're just somehow off the mark or misguided a little bit. That'll happen. You're not going to get everything right. If that's the aim, is to help Hex, and you're doing the things we've described above, like getting connected, community speaking up, council of others, you're going to get refined into something that actually helps Hex. And you're going to move that direction if that's your true intent. For example, I won't draw us down this rabbit trail too far, but when we first came up with the concept of actuator, it wasn't something that looked like the form it's currently in. We had the same intention, we had the same goals, we had the same desire, but we were going down a path that, looked like, there are elements of this that were working, but we ended up having to pull back, make an adjustment, get some counsel, seek some other approaches, and then it became what it is. And quite frankly, if you look at the history of Hex itself, that's how it emerged, right? It didn't come out in final form in the exact manner that it was first conceived, right? There were some iterations there that the community and council came together and refined. So I think the short answer to your question would be, if the intention is right and the openness is there and they're connected with the council of others, it's refinable down the right path. If they're trying to operate in the dark, and people, I mean, there are devs have some tough motives at time, right? That's why you've got scams and phishings and all the stuff you have. Those guys are devs. They just have different motives in mind. Well, that gets exposed if they're operating in the dark versus operating in the light. And I think that's a big deal.
Gotcha.
So next up, what are some benefits to consider? The benefits of building on Hex are, one is you're dealing with one of the most battle-hardened contracts in DeFi. We already know about its audits. I mean, back on day one, we were still wrestling around with, is this thing reliable? What's going on? And we had the 2 security audits and a financial audit and a lot of reason to believe it. But now, my goodness, at this point down the road, with the number of people that have been scoffers and haters and whatever, pounding from every angle they can, I mean, it's like the sewer rat of crypto of, hey, we faced it all and we're going to keep facing it, but this thing has been tried and true, right? So we've got that we're building on across DeFi. And now with things like Liberty Swap and all the other things going on, we're truly ready to open up highways from every other chain out there coming in. And we're going to have some really great reasons like privacy and who knows what other things that we won't talk about that are going to attract very broadly. And we're ready for that. So that is, you're building in an epicenter that has all the right stuff in place. It's got this Lindy effect, which, as you know, means the things that survive tend to survive longer. The longer you survive, the longer you're likely to survive. And so that is a positive flywheel of confidence. And as I've said before, I think that makes this the reserve asset of this whole ecosystem. The time valuation is baked in as a contract immutable. That brings economic stability. Think about that. If you're building your economic future somewhere, you need a reliable, straight ruler that's measuring properly. That's an immutable time valuation measure. And that's what we're getting in the form of Hex and its staking. And that's what we're seeking to create through the actuator protocol in the form of a underlying native Hex yield curve and effectively bond market, but better bond market because it's the perfected collateral. So that's what we think this is going to build, and it's going to provide even more capability. So I got one more here. Did you have any comments on this section here, Max?
All good on that one.
All right. And then my last one here, because I see I'm running a little short. Ideas for future development. This is where so much of the rubber hits the road. Some of these are things our team is thinking of, and we would work around. So one thing we'd love to see is that HTTs one day get integrated into lending protocols, maybe ETF-like products like we've got over on the Fux pools, whatever. But HTTs are they're Hex in the future. That's what they are. So we treat HTTs like Hex because they are Hex. They're just Hex on a future day. And that implements this time value of money feature and will prove to be very beneficial. So we want to add things that will help this yield curve blossom and provide sound economic measuring into the future. Next, we're looking at ideas to enable tradable HSI balances. If you've got your HSIs put up in and delegated to the actuator protocol, right now you, of course, can mint your HTTs and do things with that piece. But what about the piece that remains in there? Well, that's serving you very well, but it might come to a point where somebody would like to be able to trade or sell that asset if that they needed even more liquidity for something. So can we use this Hex yield curve to provide sound, transparent pricing about market components? So we're going to examine that and see what other things might be useful there. I think today you have to anticipate multi-chain involvement, cross-chain services. The highways are being built. The reasons for other communities coming are getting very clear. They're going to come. What is it that we can do to anticipate all of the things that people new to the space might want? So we're using those kinds of things to think about. Another thing would be to watch the pipeline. I mean, Max, you just, with that fellow, I forgot his name, that was contemplating getting options built out. That's an example. I took notes on that. Might reach out and try to understand more, because if you can see what's in the pipeline, whether it's at the idea stage or the development stage or the testing stage, that's going to give you an idea of what, as a development team, maybe you can plug into or build upon or things like that. And then the last thing here is, boy, teams, we all need to be watching to find and fill the gaps. Many things that we have today, including actuator, by the way, flow out of experiences in the marketplace that something happened where I wish I could have done that, had that, or seen this. And then suddenly we say, well, if it doesn't exist, let's build it. So be watchful to find and fill the gaps. And every time any of you in the community have an experience somewhere where you're like, wow, I love all that I'm doing here, but gee, couldn't somebody have done this? Well, that's an idea. There's something there it's founded on, and it could become tomorrow's project. So with that, I'll pause and pass it back to you, Max, for final comments and moving on.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I really like. I'm very excited to see people building on Hex. We've seen over the last 2 or 3 years so many people building on Hex during the bear, during not up only. I can only imagine how many devs and how many people we're going to attract, and they see the power of Hex and around Pulse Chain and stuff too. What they're going to want to build and how they're going to see things and different ideas. You talked about, Rodrigo earlier talked about options on the centralized exchanges. Is there a way to do that DeFi wise? All that stuff too. So there is this like supercharged like potential we have that, when, as Richard says, when more people know about you, when they can hear about it, when they see it, it's one of those things, especially if they're interested in the tech, and hopefully we'll get some price performance around that time too. It'll be this, wow, okay, let's build on Hex. Like what don't they have yet? Let's go build it. There's a whole community there that wants it and will appreciate it and will use it. And people come here to make cool stuff. Like I want to see that keep happening.
They do. We have to be a little bit guarded, because when they come, some will come to assimilate, grow, and contribute. Others might come to pillage. So we've got to be a little discerning.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's hopefully we'll over time we'll have the wisdom to know the difference, and we'll attract more good ones than the bad ones. I can only hope.
Exactly.
Definitely, for sure.
Right.
Awesome. Well, I think are you back on Thursday?
I'm back on Friday, I think, where I've got the
Awesome.
What is actuator and then a panel.
Awesome. Excited for that. I've been saving actuator questions for that panel as well. I'll probably have a few. So really appreciate it, C3 Works. I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Awesome. Love builders on Pulse Chain. So good. So good. Especially building on Hex. All right. Crispy Man's coming up. But before then, let's get to one other video. What are we going to do? You know what? Let's do rock. Let's do dance. I haven't did dance for a while. Let's do dance.
Let's see if they fuck the chemical one time. Yeah. Hey, I remember serving something. I see from my levels. That's what this a nigga. This a family. This the mama coming. This from a jumper. My you can't see what's in front of coming. This you say with my food. You take it with me. This ain't girl. Like a white westy girl with my taste. But ooh, that pussy good. What you say they know my taste. But I can't wait to be with you. She let me do the dangerous. I love when you got me back. You got me playing dangerous. And you feel the beat to the damn phone. If I drop your deal, you just gotta hate them for. If I quit your beat, I'm extra round with six.
Boom. Let's do the thing. Gotta learn how to do that. Da-doom. So good. So good. That's our founder, Crispy. That's our founder.
I found it.
He's got the twerk of an angel. I've heard that.
I guess so. He's got the moves, huh? Hey, I like that actuator, man. I'm a huge supporter of that. I love it.
I've seen you talk about it, do videos, all kinds of fun stuff. And if Crispy is if he's zoning into it, especially on the a lot of different projects, but on the Hex, if it's a new Hex thing that you're zoning into, I'm super paying attention to, because that's you know your Hex pretty well.
I'm trying.
You hex
I like
hard.
that. I like that because it works. It works kind of like a super bond. I know he already did his presentation, so we don't need another one on it, but it's pretty good.
We're gonna get it Friday. I think you're on the actuator protocol or panel, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
If
think
not,
so.
You can be. That'd be great.
Okay,
all right. I'll give it to you. Take it away. I'll put up whatever you want me to do on the screen.
Yeah, me too. I'll set my presentation. You know what's kind of funny, as I looked at this is crazy. The presentation is an update from last year, same day.
Oh, okay.
Same date. August
the same
19th,
like August 19th, 2024.
2024. Woo.
Wow. The year that kind of sucked. Mostly sucked.
Oh,
it's okay. 2025 is going to be better. I think it's already been better. So it'll be pretty good. All right, Crispy, take it away.
Yeah. All right, guys, as everybody who's out there, we're going to talk about Communis for a moment. It's about a 15-minute presentation. I'll keep Max on schedule. We'll be able to get there without any trouble. So Communis, what is it? We'll get to that. But I guess I could just tell you what it is. Reward token for natively staking Hex. And so what's the big deal about that? Well, particularly for Quattro Cinco stakes, which I think people know that I'm into. You get the best and the most Communis reward for doing a Quattro Cinco stake. And currently, the coupon rate on Pulse Chain is 4.17%. So that means that the Communis that you get in your start bonus, not the entire bonus, just the start, is 4.17%. And what does that mean? That means if I go stake $100 worth of Hex for Quattro Cinco, I can, as soon as that stake goes live, I can turn around and mint a start bonus that is worth $4.17. So not too shabby. And so the big discussion about this has always been about how it is a marketing tool. It's a marketing tool because people actually, believe this or not, people are actually staking Hex in order to get more COM so that they can stake the COM. And when they stake their COM, they get 5% additional APR once they hit certain requirements. And so what you can envision, right, or shining city on the hill type of approach, is that at some point you're able to stake your Hex, claim your COM, stake your COM, get COM in terms of a reward or a bonus from your staking your COM, and never have to sell Hex. All right, so that's where it is now. I think the last I checked, half a quad of COM stake, which requires quite a bit of Hex to be staked, by the way, was paying about $1,000 to $2,000 a year in rewards. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but I'll hit this again, right? Let's say you had that set up, you were somewhat less, you had $1,000 worth of COM coming in via rewards. Well, I expect crypto to go up 10x. So maybe I thought $1,000 was too little. 10,000 is pretty good. And the chain goes up 100x. I think I like $100,000 in COM per year just coming from rewards a lot. I think I like that a lot. Now, of course, there's some background to that, and we can't really guarantee all this stuff, right, price wise and all the rest. But just give you the idea, price, what it is now. It's 4.17%, and I was just referring to that coupon rate not changing. Well, what if it changes? Well, all of a sudden that number's a lot higher. Now, how would it change? Well, people that are interested in COM, and there's a whole community of people. It's not just me. It's not just Johnny Sachs. It's not the developer Kodiak. It's not the Communis V guys. It's a whole bunch of people that are involved now, that are really supporting this and pushing it. If we are able to make COM more scarce by taking off the market price goes up. And it's tied to T-shares and the T-share rate. And so what does that mean is over time, less and less COM, Communist token, gets minted, right? Less and less is rewarded. And then if you add one extra piece to that, there's a lot of people just fade it. I bet you there's some people listening right now, they haven't even claimed their COM. And even if they do claim their COM, they have to keep their ladder up and in good health to continue to claim COM, at least the big end bonuses. So anyways, it's a pretty good, sweet setup. Let me show you a couple bits of information so I don't take up all our time here. But all right, so what's Hex COM Fusion? We talk about this a lot. It's basically making that liquid hex productive. One of the things that they've tried to encourage is getting people to stake Quattro Cinco to claim the COM, right? When you do that, now of course it's got to fit into your plans, right? So it's got to fit into your plans, whatever your plans are. I'm not saying go stake all your value out Quattro Cinco, but again, some of us really do believe in this. We have 180 other people, nearly 500 this year, wallets. I guess I can't say the people, but who have decided that Quattro Cinco staking is the way to go. So they're doing it, so they can stake that hex. They claim their COM. They'll stake their COM. For some of them, will stake it and earn even more. Earn that 5% APY for the COM. Or hey, you know what? This is DeFi. You don't want to participate? Claim your COM and swap it. Swap it for more hex. Go stake more hex. You have that. You have the capability, right? People, there's quite a bit of liquidity right now relative to the market and how things work. So what is the purpose of this whole thing? To incentivize better staking. Some of you might have been listening a couple hours ago when I was on. The use case for Hex is to stake Hex in the ladder, scrape your rewards, and restake. That's the use case, right? Keep the ladder going, keep it built, continue to build value, continue to make both Hex and T-shares more scarce in that way. But it's designed specifically for Hex stakers to maintain long ladders, right? So it's exactly how it's built, and why it's important is the distribution is based on staking commitment, right? If you don't get COM if you don't stake Hex natively, so you can't get it. You have to go 180 days out just to get your start bonus. You got to go 365 days out to get end bonuses. You have to claim your first end bonus to even get rewards. And then if you don't stake your COM, eventually the system will say, you can't get any more end bonuses because you got to keep up with staking some of the COM at least. Thumb rule is 50%. So it's all based on rewarding long-term stakers who will fulfill their commitments. Now, Johnny Sachs talks about this a lot. About how it's inevitable the price of COM is going to go up and it's going to outperform Hex, and that's because of the number one, the scarcity, the number of tokens that come into being in comparison to Hex. They go up at a much slower rate, and so the ratio will continue to be outsized. And then there's already liquidity seeded into the markets, right? And the expectation would be that liquidity will remain, and if it remains, right, it has the potential to seriously outperform Hex over time. So distribution methods on the whole communist COM token, start bonuses. You get that at the beginning of a stake, end bonuses at the end of a stake. Some people are using, the protocol for good accounting. And so they'll go good account old, stakes that are expired, and they get a little bonus. They get a little bounty they get for some free COM. There's a little used and little known option for those who are really into keeping their ladder up. They can do a restake bonus. They don't get any more COM from it, but they get more of their COM up front. They get double the start bonus roughly, which is great for somebody who wants to stake and earn 5%. And then, of course, the staking of communist bonus, which I keep talking about, is tied to the act of staking the communist tokens themselves, and that pays 5%. So that's another way that this should, more COM gets distributed. I hit some of these points already, but again, active stakes only, bonuses for native stakes, and encouraging long-term staking. All right. And over time, if you ever want to look at the numbers, you can come over to the site or over to the Telegram. They get into details, but basically reflects what's happening with the share rates and just how you are participating going forward in the staking of Hex. So again, all about staking of Hex. And it is, and we get this question a lot. It is native staking only. Does not apply to HSIs, which does open up interesting questions for people who are involved with things like Actuator or Hedron and ICOSA. And because you have to make a decision in one direction or another if you're staking. All right, staking. Let's see, technical specs on this one. Yeah. So this gets into the idea of why it was native stakes in the first place. Proof of ownership, you have to be able to prove you owned it. Decentralization is really cool with this one. No admin keys. A lot of the stuff where we're dealing with now, I know we may not realize it if you're not looking into it. A lot of the new protocols we're working with, they're not necessarily immutable. You got to check things like that. And then it really has emphasized fairness, no special bonuses, etc. Now, I do believe I'm scheduled with access for a full talk on this, our panel, right? Panel coming up tomorrow. And so we'll have more time to talk about that. But this is the real high level. And as far as slides go, I got quite a bit of them here, so I'm not going to go through them all. But I mean, I hit on all these points already. Oh yeah, there is one other one that we should bring up is if you do like it and you want to be involved, you can be sharing your own personal referral link, and you'll get a 1% referral for people who claim and they'll come later. You can get that. And then finally, the very last thing I'd say, what are the big guys doing? I think what we've kind of fell into is the methodology is claim and stake calm. For those who are staking Hex, and then increasing those bonuses and having it earn more calm and locking more of it. And then the real big folks are providing the LP, and acquiring the tokens off the market. At any one time, I can go out there and find, V3s out there, either, somebody supplying the market or somebody taking them off the market, kind of like bracketing the price.
Fun fact, you can only stake the communists that you mint from your stakes.
Correct. You can't just come in and be like, I'm going to go buy COM. And if what you have to do is you actually have to stake Hex to get the COM, right?
And staking.
Yes, that's the whole purpose. Mm-hmm. But with the price of COM currently, it is cheaper to buy COM off the market than it is to stake it, which is another tokenomics piece, right? Now, what do you do with that COM? That COM is for speculation and for providing LP. And so, in theory, somebody could say, hey, listen, I really want to support this. Go buy a shat ton of COM off the market and go thicken up the Hex LP pair with COM and really, really help boost the system up, or some other LP with it.
Got a quick question from someone who appears to be new. Welcome, new people. Hex Week 2025. Pimp Barbecue Sauce says, hi, I'm new here. Is Hex the better Bitcoin? If yes, why?
Oh, so many reasons. I would say my number one reason is that it took Bitcoin to the next step in terms of difficulty adjustment and halvings. In Hex, we experience halvings. They're not halvings in this case, but difficulty adjustments upwards every time the T-share rate goes up. And that can happen daily or multiple times a day. Other things that people will cite for that, of course, is it's immutable code. It's not spaghetti code. It's pretty clear. It works pretty good. Okay? I mean, we never seen an error with the contract. Never had a problem like that. I mean, other than, of course, gas being expensive, but that wasn't a result of the contract itself. So
better founder, better community.
Yeah, decentralized, et cetera, et cetera. And, and even without pitting communities against communities, we have a really good community, right? So I mean, it's a store of value. So it has lots of upside that, we're just not like, see, I can seriously tell you that I expect, well, I shouldn't say expect. I think it's possible to see 100x on Hex over the next cycle, whether it's this year, next year, or within 4 years, right? I cannot tell you seriously I expect to see that happen with Bitcoin. That would make Bitcoin 1 trillion. Is that what's 100? What's 100,000? That's a billion. I don't know. You're gonna get, yeah, 100,000 million, 10 million. That would be 10 million. 10 million,
billion?
right?
Yeah, 100,000. Yeah, 10 million. Yeah,
10 million. So I don't really expect that to happen in the near term. Do I think Bitcoin could become that? Sure. But I mean, we just have lots of upside.
Crispy, it's just one question. Are you team BlackRock or team Win? Boom. Team Win. Everyone holding Bitcoin's like, I don't, whatever, just make my bags go up.
Oh, is that what you meant? Yeah. It's funny, everybody's got principles until it comes to their pocketbook, their wallet. Listen, I guess I haven't, I might have faced it a couple of times, but I haven't directly faced here's your $10 million, Crispy, or keep your conviction. So I guess maybe I can't judge and throw rocks in that glass house, but man, but it sure feels like that because people degen. Actually, in a way, some of them might have been too smart for themselves, and then others were just too degen, right? Because they unloaded expecting there was going to be lower prices, but this is what happens: the market moves against you, right? Because remember the old days. Richard talked about this a bunch of times. In the old days, they could count on there being 80%, 90% dip. Even when going up, it was frequent that you'd see 70% drops. Right now, we're not seeing that. So. And why are we not seeing that? We see what's every other day. There's another announcement about Saylor buying $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, right?
My next T-shirt is I did not sell Hex under a penny. Did not sell all my Hex under a penny. That's a great T-shirt.
That is a good one. Hey, Johnny says you get to mine Hex. You don't get to share. You don't get your share of the BTC mine. That's true. That's true. Yeah, you can actually. That's a good point. That probably should have said that anyways. I always just think of it immediately that, of course, I'm staking Hex because that's the use case for it. But holding Hex versus Bitcoin, okay, but mining Hex is better.
Trustless yield. I think that's the biggest technical difference too. Like I think it's easy for people to understand. It's like you want yield from Bitcoin. I'm sure somebody's gonna be some Bitcoin person will be, that we have some protocol that can do it now, and Hex did it from day one. And it does it, I want to say, the best. And I'm excited about it. And I know the founder. I like the founder. I'm excited about the founder as well. And all that fun stuff. And it's based on, and Bitcoin is great, but Hex is the best.
Strong like bull.
Strong like bull. All right, Crispy, I will see you. Well, I mean, if you want to come on later, Hex panel, it's open as well. If not, see you tomorrow or the next day. One of those. Appreciate you, man. Always great information.
We shall see you.
All right, buddy. See you soon. Are you not entertained? Well, you're about to be. Next guest is going to tell you, going to answer the question. So you got Rich with Hex. What's next? But before then, we got one more video. Let's just do a konnichiwa. Let's get a konnichiwa for Big K here.
Konnichiwa!
How's it going, man? How's it going?
Oh, doing all right. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Do you prefer Big K, Big Krakowski, BK? What do you like?
They're all great. Big K is easier for people to say, but
I just heard Cabana say it a million times.
Any of the following.
Yeah, I think I've just heard Cabana say it a million times. I just hear Big
El
K.
Duder, Deuterino, any of those work just fine too.
Awesome.
But no, I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Hex Week kicking off day 2. Got you next, and then we got a couple more coming up before we close up. But yeah, the floor is yours, man. If you got anything to show on the screen, just let me know. I'll pop it on. Otherwise, I will see you 15 minutes or so.
All right. Sounds great.
Cool. See you soon.
So the question at hand, you made it. You made some gains. There's the cycle that's happening here, and we all, hopefully are going to, appreciate positive growth on our portfolios, right? So and the question is of what are you going to do with it, or how are you going to, what sort of changes are you going to make? I am somebody who has pretty the unique experience to have gone through something similar to this. I'm a strong believer in Hex and have been since long before it even came out. And I was thoroughly blown away. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was a penny was a dream of mine, at the beginning of all this. So where we're at right now is incredible. But like what I did personally, and I can go through some of the different things that I did right and wrong, along the way, and we can, and maybe you can learn something from it. Maybe you can follow in some similar footsteps, or stay away from some of the pitfalls. But like the first thing that I'd always like that I did that was a big deal for me was considering my tax options. If you are staring at large amounts of gains, the best time to consider your tax options are honestly before you are looking at those games. I mean, whether it be based on your taxing jurisdiction, whether you're talking about making it an entity to own this crypto, or whether you're talking about moving to a new location. I found comfort in an island life where taxes are pretty low. So that was something that I did pretty early on that I thought was super important. When numbers became large, and I was pretty staggered at how much I had begun to appreciate here. I also did some diversification. I think that's another thing that's super. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I continued to make hex stakes. That's another thing that I'd love to say, that I think that even towards the top of stuff, I like the fact that I had, as Crispy was talking about recently, a rolling hex ladder of stakes over time has really helped to not only insulate my mind, but as well as like my plan. It's helped me to stay true to my plan, because it's like Hex is, it's kind of like a truth engine. You better, when you stake, you better stick through that stake, and that kind of helps you to budget your finances through the future. So I'd consider continuing to make, if you're making hex stakes, or if you make gains and have the ability to make some fatty stakes, I don't think that there's a problem with doing that. I don't know, would I go so far as to stake all of your bags while you're at the top? Probably not, unless you're really making a plan for the next cycle, which is the next thing that I would say is something that is super important to do while you're in euphoria moments. When you are in euphoria moments and everything you think everything's amazing, you can't help but refresh your app, and whatever it was, whether it be Pulsefolio or Hex Scout or whatever you're checking your stakes on, whatever it is, you're going to refresh it all the time and be feeling like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And those are usually the moments when you might want to consider taking a little off the table, pull some into some sort of stable or lesser volatile investment. And that's why I'm saying it's like I personally love to have considered a very barbell style of investment. I like to have very volatile things like crypto, and then super unvolatile things like real estate. Like I'm finding some other income sources, investments, whatever, that are going to pay you yield, because that's really the end of the game here, is something that I think is a useful thing to do. Something else that I think that would be a great list of things to work on is a passion project. Find something that you enjoy working on, and find repeat fun in doing it. Don't just think I'm gonna go out and buy or create a business, because I'll be honest with you, in crypto, it's really difficult to outcompete yourself. You make gains this cycle, and it's going to take you 2 years for your business to start turning actual, serious profit. And in that time, before you know it, the market's going to turn back around, and you'll be wishing that you'd had the liquid capital to invest back into, the crypto. So that's what I mean, make a plan for next cycle. But that doesn't mean that whatever passion project you can find isn't something that can help people or help yourself or be rewarding in its own right. those are all some pretty like base layer things. I mean, and like some of the other stuff is like, you know, if I had to go back and change some things that I would, like what I did right and what I did wrong, you know, on the one hand, I'd say don't spend frivolously, you know, like jackets like this, awesome, G as they get, but like you don't really need them. You don't really need it. Uh, um, Now there's other types of, you know, fancy investments that do hold value longer than those. Like don't get me wrong, clothing is not going to be one of them that's going to hold its value, whereas, you know, fancy watches do hold their value better. So if you're a big case thought on trusts, you know, I see a question coming through here. Trusts, that's also something that I would consider doing. Honestly, trusts are like, and any sort of end of life planning is stuff that, like, even if you haven't made mad gains yet, you guys should seriously consider planning for. You know, like, you just it doesn't cost that much if you own property already, or are, you know, have anything of value to your name, to like have a trust set up so that when you die, you know, the next of kin that you have will be able to, you know, enjoy what you've pulled together, you know, without lengthy probate processes and the rest. The trusts can help you for not only end of life stuff, but they can also help for tax advantages as well. So like that, no, I'm a strong believer in trusts. Now you do have to be careful, as you know, putting everything that you have in trust. I'm not a trust lawyer. I don't know all that like that stuff in depth and outside, but I do recommend that that you look into that. Look into, you know, there's this affinity in crypto that, like, you think because we're a counterculture or a counter financial system that, like, you might not want to like engage with traditional finance stuff. And like, while you might speak over the head or hear recommendations from traditional finance people that say, hey, don't put all your, you know, money in crypto, it's fair for them to say that you might not agree with, you know, but that's okay. I still would source their opinion, and I still would use the, you know, the traditional finance, you know, means out there. I own more, you know, stocks and things like that, you know, other traditional investments, our IRA, all that kind of stuff, than I did before. I definitely also made attempts, you know, to diversify in those areas as well. I mean, I say treat, you know, as you can see, I do say treat yourself a little, you know, treat yourself a little. That's something that you can do by all means. But if I had to say one big, like, hey, don't do that. You think like it's cool, but it's probably not that cool in the long run. And I would go with my big one is private airfare travel. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been on some private flights to neat, you know, but like if you could give me the Hex and or the whatever back that like, and you're like like, hey, that's what you spent on this, I for sure would rather have the crypto back than I'd just walked. You know. So whatever that is, that's definitely like, out of all the silly things that I engaged in, and you know, I might come up here. That was one that, like, regretful. That was COVID, so like I give myself a little leeway, because like traveling early on in that was quite the luxury to be able to go somewhere without all of the rest of the rigmarole. But we don't have to deal with that now. So like, chill out. Just get on. Listen. Spirit's not that bad. They got a cup of noodles on there. It's all good, man. It's all good. You know, you gotta get around. Just get around. But no, those are some things that I recommend. I mean, honestly, like I said, to start out everything, the making of stakes and keeping your stakes rolling. I mean, really, like, I'm still here, still a part of this community, and still on top of my game, and like with more Hex than I've ever had because of staking. You know, like, I get it that, you know, you might not, the financial incentive of the APY to like might not be as high as it was in the past, but the mental like what you gain from the peace of mind and security of having something to look forward to in the future is it really makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. Like I said, it's it's like something that I when I was first staking Hex and first telling a lot of my friends and family to stake, many people that I got involved were not uh, traditional finance, like we're not well off and did not have, a bunch to their name. And I had several people tell me when they made stakes that they felt like they finally had something to look forward to in their life. They finally had like a nest egg, something that they could, give to their kids, or they finally even had the idea to think about, maybe I wanted to start a family, because that was even a possibility for them now. So like that, like I can't I can't impress upon people the importance of planning, making a plan, and then sticking to it. So like, does it have to be staking your Hex? No, but like I find that doing that has helped me more than most other things to like stick to the plan that I have. And like go figure, back then I had some plan to time this market cycle out to have some good stakes come around. So hooray, and I recommend that for everybody. I mean, this is not a like a sprint. This is a marathon. We'll be here longer than you expect. Like what I've never imagined that I'd be on Hex Week after a Pulse conference, after what, like, here we are 5+ years into all of this. I like, that's the longevity of it's incredible. And then when somebody goes and tells me, I was just reading, oh, Satoshi just the other day, 2 days or 2 ago, was the anniversary of him registering the website, and that was like 2008. So that's crazy. That's a long time ago. It's more than a decade. So I feel like people don't realize that like setting this stuff up now for the future is incredible. I mean, communists, we just had Crispy talking about it. There's so many free coins that I've gotten for just participating, for just being a Hex staker. I've gotten tons of free stuff. And like the best way to start that is to do that now. It's like, make a plan now. And like even the little bits, the pennies and the dollars, before you know it, they really come together to start to make some real gains for you. So like, yeah, I feel like, I don't know how close I am on my time, but I wanted to impress upon the people what worked for me and what I think other people should keep taking a look at going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I love you talked about too, just the ability to, through this time, get more Hex and stuff too, whether you're staking and you're earning yield or DCAing. Like, do you think, like, how much, I guess, do you think is probably a yes, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, but how much do you think people are going to win from having that patience through the bear, buying the lows and then being able to get liquidity at the highs, hopefully later on, if we get another 10,000X or anything close to it? Do you think Hexagons are going to win this cycle?
Oh, I do. I mean, like, I would have found some other place to spend my time and some other community. I mean, I've been like, before Hex stuff, I used to work doing music festivals. I used to work at other community building opportunities. That's like what I like to do. I like to, rally everyone together for whatever it is, events and all the rest. And like, if there was somewhere cooler or more fun in crypto to be, I might be there. But like, I'm here to tell you that like, that is not. This is still the coolest, most interesting, fun, wacky, controversial, all the, you get it all here. And like, I wouldn't have it any other way. So like, I'm like super stoked about it. So no, I think that people have tons of opportunity here. I think more so than people, like, again, and you talked about Bitcoin and ETH gains earlier, and like, yeah, I mean, there's gains there, but like, I don't think that you'll see the X's that you can see here pretty quickly. I've experienced it, and I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have waited 4 more years if I didn't think that it was, if that was, I'm not just waited, but like I said, actively and passionately built my stack in this ecosystem.
Wow. Amen. That's awesome. I'm excited. Yeah. I mean, we saw some mega bullish stuff kick off, and I'm sure, we can talk about it more on the panel. We're going to come back in like 45 minutes or so on the panel as well. Yeah. We'll have plenty of great people on the panel to have the conversation too, but mega bullish stuff happening on Pulse Chain. Hex, premier, awesome asset. We grew into a large hardy frivolous, come on, let's do some more X's ecosystem and the tech, whatever you're here for. I hope everyone gets some Majesty gains, and I appreciate you, Big K.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate everyone for spending the time coming through and listening.
Let's do it. See you soon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love these talks today. Today is, man, we're popping off today. 7 hours of awesome talks. Love it. Let's get a rockets up before we get Jex in here. Let's go. How's it going, man?
Hey, buddy. Good to be back again.
You're back. Security panel. Awesome. I got to clip that. I'm going to post it at some point. That was super good as well. And
I've only just woken up, so I haven't had a chance to review what's happened this morning or tonight for you guys on all the previous sessions. But I do want to tap into a little bit of what Big K said. And my talk's going to be about value and Pulse Chain 2025 and beyond. So yeah, I think I'll pick up on a few of the threads that he sort of laid down there, and yeah, hopefully everyone can see why he's excited and why other people that have come to the community are still excited about what's to come.
Dude, that sounds great. I'm gonna go out. I'll put you on screen, and it's all yours.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. See you soon.
Cool. All right, just give me a second to set up my desktop so I can present. Cool. So yeah, as the slide says, Hex and Pulse Chain ecosystem 2025 and beyond. I know this is supposed to be a bit of a Hex-centric session that we're having over the last couple of days, but Pulse Chain was essentially built off of a need for Hex to survive and grow beyond where it was on Ethereum. So I think this all ties in nicely. But what I wanted to talk about was value drivers in a decentralized world. And hopefully if I can impart a little bit of my thoughts on that, we'll all come away with a little bit more resiliency in the price of the dips and the troughs that we have to sometimes suffer in this space. So my big thing is value and price are not equal. So we spend so much time worrying about the price, and we often forget about the value. So what I want to peel out in this session is, well, what value have we created in Pulse Chain, and what does that mean for us? So, like I said, value does not always equal price. Speculation can overshoot value, and we see this particularly in the crypto space. We see the speculation of the speculation of the value of something way overshoot its actual value and undershoot it as well. Hence why we have big bear markets. Ultimately, value is created over time, usually while you're busy worrying about the price. So let's have a look at what actually affects the value of something like Pulse Chain and Hex. So value versus price, and this is what I mean by we've got our purple line here of value, which is built over time. And we'll talk about what constitutes that value over time. But then what we spend our day-to-day on is the green line, which is price. And we're 1 minute we're above what value is, the next we're below. And I'll give you a good example of how that looked for Ethereum in the past and how it sort of looked for Pulse at the beginning when we launched as well. So if you were around for DeFi summer, that really popped off in the world of Ethereum, and price rocketed up. Didn't matter what project it was, if it had a DeFi label, price was through the roof. But that value, so prior to that, the price was really, really suppressed. We'd come out of a bear market, but all these DeFi protocols that were popping off, they didn't emerge overnight. They had been built over the course of the whole bear market. So teams were busy building all this stuff out, building the tech, and they were probably less worried about price. They were head down, bum up, focused on doing the code and bringing these projects to life. All this value getting generated, teams working on it, but the market wasn't ready for the growth in price to start to match that value that had been built in. So we'd come off the back of a solid bull market. price smashed down way lower than the value was worth. Value kept getting built, and then when we had our DeFi summer, the price caught up with value and then went straight through it. And we keep doing that time and time again in these markets. Pulse is probably a pretty good example of that. We all, a lot of people sacrificed funds for Pulse. The expectation was pretty high when it launched. Everyone was pretty excited. We got a quick rally up in price, but the chain had just launched. So ultimately, the speculation got ahead of the value. We had to reset the price, and then we've had to rebuild. And what you probably don't realize is, for while everyone's been focused on a chart going down for the last year or so, there's been a lot of value built. And we haven't actually had the chance to reset our price to match the value that's been built. And I think that's what we're about to go through. So there's what I call the 3 M's that affect a lot of the projects in this space. So Moore's law, that's to do with the speed of processing chips and how fast they evolve. We're a technology-based industry, so the more compute power we have, the cheaper it is to run blockchains, the bigger they can get because we get more disk space. So as technology evolves, it's good for how fast and how quickly we can move data around on these blockchains. So that's a good underlying thing, but it doesn't sort of really translate into value. It's more deflationary because as things get faster, it's cheaper to do those tasks, but it does affect what we do. This is the big one, and we'll spend a bit more time talking about this, and this is Metcalfe's law. So this states that the value of a network is proportional to the square of the number of connected users, or what they call nodes. So in other words, as more people join a network, the network's value increases exponentially. But why? The analogy I like to use is if you go all the way back in time to when the first telephone was introduced, and what you probably had was one guy sitting on the end of a line on one telephone, and another guy could have been in the same city, another state, sitting on another end of the line. And that was 2 users or 2 nodes on that telecommunications network. That added a bit of value. So they could now, rather than the tyranny of distance and time to send snail mail or something like that across that distance, they could do that in real time on a phone. So that did actually add a lot of value, that network. But where it got really interesting was when we added another node and another node. So rather than just one-to-one direct communication, now 4 people could communicate with whoever they chose that was on there. And you can imagine as that gets more and more nodes on the network, it becomes a lot more valuable network because now everyone can start communicating. And we take it for granted now. That's the world we live in. Everyone's got a little computer in their back pocket. They're all hyper connected. Very valuable networks, but it had to start somewhere. So that value had to grow over time as all the nodes connected to this very first telecommunications network. So that's how Metcalfe's law works. The more nodes you have on a connected network, the more value it is. That's why things like Meta, Facebook, they all blew up. And in actual fact, their highest growth periods in terms of value were before they even learned how to generate revenue. So when they were startups and all these nodes or all these users were joining into Meta, Facebook at the time, it was very hard for people to value it, but they just seen this mass amount of users connecting to this network. And they didn't even know how to monetize it. I don't know if you remember back in the day, but Facebook was essentially free. They had no clue how they were going to make money out of this thing. And for better or worse, the path that they ended up taking was, okay, we've got all these people on this network now. We've got their attention locked into it. We're going to monetize their attention. And how did they do that? Ads. So unfortunately, that's where we sort of sit in the current era of a lot of this technology. Is our attention, our time is essentially just abused for selling ads so that these companies can make revenue. Not my favorite way it's played out. in terms of what we probably could have done as a society with these technologies, but that's where we sit. I hope we start to see a bit of a change of that as this next generation of social networks evolve and then not so ad driven. So yeah, that's my hope as we see a big improvement in that, because yeah, great technology, but probably not put to use greatly. And the last of the 3 M's is Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. No one's immune to Murphy's Law. And look, I'm being a little bit flippant, but hey, you can't control everything. You can have the best of intentions. And I'm sure when Pulse Chain was launched, everyone had expectations and intentions. And hey, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. So, but I think we've consolidated really, really well. And we're set to really build on a strong platform that has been worked on for a couple of years by a lot of people. And that's what I want to try and show you, is what has actually been going on in the background and where that value has accrued over that time while we've been worried about the price. Now, I think there's a little bit more to value creation in these networks than just Metcalfe's Law. And I've sort of alluded to that, and that's human capital. So as humans, our one most valuable resource is our time. And where we choose to dedicate that time, it is important. You are actually injecting your time as value into where you spend that time. Okay, so Metcalfe's Law is great. The hyper-connected nodes is definitely a thing that adds a lot of value. But if you've got a lot of these nodes, but no one ever jumps on to give their attention on these nodes, where's the value? So I think that is probably one of the most important things, is the human capital side of this. Let's have a bit of a look at Metcalfe's Law and see what that could mean for Pulse Chain and ultimately Hex. The beauty of this space that we play in is every token has the ability to be a network. It is the amount of users that come in, there are more nodes on that token. So you can sort of treat Pulse Chain as the underlying infrastructure and the communications channel, but each token has that same sort of principle as Metcalfe's Law. More people giving it attention and more people connected to, more holders essentially of a token. So they all sort of play by that rule, but more so with sort of communication type networks, you really see that. But let's have a look how Metcalfe's Law could work if we sort of try and apply it to Pulse Chain. So I've done these slides a while back. So this is a presentation I've done probably a good 6 months or so now ago, I think it was. It could have been a bit sooner. So some of these numbers will be a little bit out. So the starting conditions, when I took this snapshot, we had a market cap of 3.3 billion, and I'm pretty sure that was including OA, of course. Number of users, look, we've got to estimate that. So I look at wallets and I go, okay, maybe there's 200,000 wallets. Now, granted, that's not individual users. Users have multiple wallets and so forth. But for the purpose of this exercise, let's roll with that number. And the price per token of Pulse, when I done this, was, what's that? 4024. Obviously, we've gone up a little bit since then. So we take those numbers and we can calculate the constant K. So we have our starting market cap, the number of users. We're going to square that. You can see the calculations there, but ultimately end up with K, so our constant being 0.0825. I'm not going to go heavy on the maths, guys. I know people tune out when we start talking maths, but just follow this through and I'll simplify it on the next slide. So we then take K and we pump that into our equation with an expanded number of users on the network. So we take our new market cap will equal K times the number of new users squared. And if we said we go from 200,000 wallets to 1 million wallets, then our new market cap, multiplying all that out, could be 82.5 billion. That's based on Metcalfe's Law. What we don't know is over what period of time that takes. You could have a massive growth period and the numbers rise up really quickly, or that could take a long, long time. Bitcoin's been around, what's that, 16 years? ETH, was it 10 years, maybe more now? So they've taken a long time to build up all their value, and they've gotten some crazy X's along the way because they've had plenty of time to build up the network, get more nodes and users, and build in more value. So what does that mean in simple terms? So if we've got our two cases here, we had our users, we started off with 200,000, we went up to 1 million, market cap was 3.3 billion, went to 82.5 billion, circulating supply remained consistent. Now, obviously that varies. Price per token went from 4.024 up to 60 cents, being 25,000x. Now, I don't want the takeaway from this to be, Jexa said we're going up 25,000x on Pulse Chain. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, this is an example of Metcalfe's law at work. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether we're going to get 1 million users or lose 1 million users. I don't know. Like these are unknowable things, and I don't know over what sort of time period. But what I wanted to show you was the power of Metcalfe's law when applied to these networking systems. And that's why, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, all those things, they rocket up in price hard because you get a tipping point where you keep building these users, and then the actual user base exponentially grows as well, which then makes the price exponentially grow even more. So they can move very, very quick if you get a good flow of new nodes or users to the network. All right, that's enough of the numbers. So I'll leave you in peace from that side of things. But let's have a look at the other side of the equation. So I talked about value being Metcalfe's law and the human capital side of things. So let's have a look what I mean by human capital and what's been injected into Pulse Chain over the last 2 years, which I don't think has been accounted for in the value of the network yet. So let's have a look at some of the things that constitute human capital. So we've had a lot of teams building projects. So that's capital that's getting injected into the network in terms of people are using their own money. Sometimes we're doing sacrifices, love them or hate them, but there's money getting injected into the network. We've got developers building, that's all their time. We've got a project management team around building a lot of these projects. We've got all the infrastructure that you have to bring to the network. So validators, nodes for RPCs, servers that host all the websites. That's all capital that is actually getting invested into the chain. And you don't see that happening in the background. But I can tell you now, some of the sites that you take for granted when you're want to see your portfolio, the guys behind the scenes running those servers are investing quite a lot of time, energy, and money to do that. That is their attention, their money getting added to the chain. Big K brought up something about some of the fun and games that happen on the chain and the controversy, and we see it all play out on X, and that's because we have a lot of sub communities, and that's because you've started off with a community that has gotten large enough to then fracture into sub communities. And whilst you sit there and go, these guys are on this side and these guys are on this side, and it looks like there's a big heated battle all the time on X, that is actually healthy. That is what a community looks like. Think about how the world operates around you. Not everyone agrees about everything. We form our groups in society every day. That's a normal functioning society as humans know it. So that's actually a healthy thing. And the more of these sub-communities we have, whether or not you're a part of one or not, they are actually healthy for the ecosystem. So next time you're about to sling a bit of shit on X, just have a think. But ultimately, they're all part of the same community as you. And you may not have the same views, but everyone's adding value. The other thing we see is real world goods and services. And this is really important. A lot of people don't get this with crypto. So the big thing I hear from most people when they look at Bitcoin, it's got no value. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing sitting behind it. And we've just talked about how valuable an actual network in of itself is because of Metcalfe's law and how efficient we can communicate. So they're obviously missing that point. But what they miss is these networks, as they get established, they are actually reaching out into the real world, and they're dragging in real world resources all the time. And it could be something as simple, you pay for your goods with crypto, or someone goes and generates a real world life product, clothing, merch. They make some mugs, some t-shirts. They're actually, that value and that time is actually getting drawn back into the network, because the network is not an island. It's now reaching out into what we call the real world, and it's attaching itself to things of value. So that value's got to ultimately be reflected in the chain that it's a part of. And that's what I think a lot of people don't see in these networks. They're struggling with the concept of this. They need to hold something physical for them to believe it has value, but they're not taking into account, I guess, the esoteric value of how this reaches out into the broader world. So we see a lot of that, and more services are generated because of that. Accountants have probably got more work. Lawyers have probably got more work. There's I work for an education company as well, teaching people how to do crypto. That's ultimately bringing value to this space and to this chain. You educate someone about the space, they then bring their attention, their dollars. So you can see how this reaches out into the broader world and starts to drag value back into the chain. And the last tier there is the attention economy. And this is what we really spoke about at the very beginning, which is all about the Metcalfe's law side of things with Facebook and the like, is if you're giving your attention to this particular network, you are injecting probably the most valuable thing on the planet, which is your time. You're all sitting here now investing your time to watch me, to watch the other streamers. You're actually injecting that value back into the network. So what I think we take for granted is we don't see it holistically about all these things that are getting injected into the chain, because we're too busy worrying about what the price is doing. But ultimately, the price will sort itself out if all these things are still happening. Communities are growing, teams are building, more real world services, more attention. As all that gets added, price will eventually catch up with it. It's bound to. Okay, so that's the value creation side of things. What really excites me about this space in general, but more so in particular with Pulse Chain, is more of the base of a new economic foundation we're building. So I think we can all agree governments don't spend money the best way they should. There's a whole bunch of middlemen that are inserted into all our payment rails we know at the moment. So traditionally, we've got banks using Visa, SWIFT. We've got our reserve currency being dollars. So these are all the foundations of a good economic network. We need exchanges and online shops, and ultimately we need some sort of savings account, which most people in the traditional world is using gold. But we've got the chance to actually build an alternate version of that with some of the views and principles that we would like to see, rather than the views and principles that are forced upon us. And while most people come into this space for price go up initially, eventually, if they delve deep enough, they end up staying for the principles and what it can possibly mean for their future and their children's future. That's why I'm here. That's why I got involved in crypto to begin with, and why I like in particular what's happening on Pulse Chain, because we seem to be doing things in a way that gets rid of the most middlemen. Hopefully, if we see a privacy protocol come on Pulse Chain that is used widely, that is the most beautiful thing I could see happen. That's the one thing I want to see happen on this chain, is privacy just be native to it. That would be absolutely awesome. But in the meantime, we've built out some really cool stuff on Pulse Chain. And I'll reflect on something Richard's said, and I don't know if people truly grasp what he means when he says this. he keeps saying, because everyone's bitching and moaning, the Block Explorer is not good, or this is not good, or we need this. And what he's telling you is we have everything we need to be successful. We already have everything we need to be successful. The rest is cake decoration. Great to have, but it doesn't materially matter if your goal is improve your wealth and your relationship with money and how you can interact with it. So what I want to show you now is why I think he's saying that and what people are missing. You can bitch and moan all you like about block explorers. At the end of the day, I don't think it matters when you've got the building blocks already in place. Okay, so let's have a look what we've got sitting on Pulse Chain that matches up with TradFi World and what we already have. And these have already been released. So we have the actual underlying network, the payment rails, the infrastructure to transmit the ones and zeros and make sure the whole system works. We've got that in Pulse Chain. We've got the reserve currency that pins on that, which is Pulse. So that's the oil that fuels that underlying network, and that's how we pay our gas fees. That is essentially the reserve currency where things are tied to in liquidity pools and things like that. But it's the oil that allows us to do those transactions. We've got somewhere an ability to trade. Now, granted, that's not the same as going down to a merchant and buying a cup of milk, but you need some way to be able to exchange. Now, what you exchange your funds into, well, that's where all the sub-communities come into it. But we've got some means of exchange there. If you want to swap your reserve currency into a savings tool like Hex, you've got the ability to be able to do that. And that's the final piece of the puzzle, is the wealth preservation, so savings side of things. And although we've seen price action be pretty brutal in Hex, just because of the general market, it's not just Hex alone. We've seen all blue chips, Cardano, everyone's been beaten to shit over the bear market price-wise. And the reality is people that are down 90% are looking over the fence saying, oh, these guys are down 92%. We're better than them. Like, everyone got brutalized over the bear market. That will change. But what we've got here is the core of what I think can be a change to good financial freedom. And like I said, the only thing I think we're missing is the privacy aspect. Now, I know there are some privacy tools on the chain, but I just don't think they're widely used. If we get something that is widely used, then that is the ultimate for me. That would be the stack complete, where we've got the rails, we've got the reserve currency, we've got a method of exchange, we've got our savings tool, and then if we can then transact privately, that is awesome. So I think that's what he's driving at when he says you've got everything you need. Yeah. Now all the rest is just us having fun and having games and creating meme coins, and but I don't want to take away from what a lot of the other teams have built, because there's been some awesome products and projects that have been built, which will get a lot of use down the track. We've got lending protocols, we've got a lot of the stuff built on Hex that you've seen. We've got like a whole system which acts like bonds for Hex in the actuator protocol. So there are so many cool tools that are being built out. Ultimately not necessary, but will be very well received when price ticks up and we get a chance to use all these really cool tools. So let's have a look at, and this will be sort of where I finish up. Let's have a look at the human capital and the value that has been injected into this chain. So this is Frank White's ecosystem map, and I refer to this quite a lot. I think he's done a really good job. It's probably grown a lot since I took this screen grab, and you can see he goes through and he itemizes all the different sectors and tools that are being created on Pulse Chain. But what you can't see is half of those lists have a little thing down the bottom where he's truncated the list, and if you click on it, it expands out probably another whole length the same with more projects. So there's probably double the amount of projects that you can see on that screen grab. That's all human capital, time, effort, energy, money that has been injected into this chain over the last 2 years. I personally know of so many things that are still getting built that people wouldn't even know about, because as builders, we talk about things in back channels when we're communicating on how we can work together on various projects. And I know there's still a raft of things that haven't even hit the market yet that are still to come. So don't take for granted all the building that has actually happened in the background over the last 2 years while you have been worried about the price. It will all catch up in the end. So yeah, some closing thoughts. Value creation is built over time. So you've just got to let the cycle play out. And we've got the broader cycle, but we've also got what's happening in Pulse Chain as well. We have our mini cycle within that broader cycle. Value creation usually precedes price appreciation. So like I said, value being built over the last 2 years has not been priced in. We will see that happen. Speculation will always oscillate around value creation. That's that chart I showed you at the beginning, where you can have a smooth run up of value creation over time as we add users and add more projects and value, but price will oscillate around that. So yeah, there's a global network of people working together to make Pulse Chain valuable. I see that every day. Like it amazes me. So if you know me, you know that I run a lot of validators on the network with the Vouch protocol. I speak to people in every single continent that are running validators on Pulse Chain. It is truly a global network, and it amazes me what we've been able to create here. That's it for me. Hopefully you found a little bit of value in that, and you've got a new perspective on how much value is being built into Pulse Chain and where this can possibly go for Pulse and for Hex.
Awesome stuff, man. Really, really like to see you go through all those pieces. And there's so much to it. What is, maybe I'll ask you this too, like what is the most, we've seen a lot of things heating up here around Pulse Chain and hopefully for Hex as well. Like what do you see us go in the next few weeks, few months? I mean, is this time, is it actually going to kick off? Like, we've been holding our breath for a while now. Do you think this is the time for the glory run?
What was really nice to see was in this recent kick up, we hit a key level, which was around the key levels, I think about so was it 4044. And every time we've hit that, we've felt a bit of resistance. We hit that, pushed up just marginally. We got through it at, what is it, 4 zeros and a 5. But that was actually a really key level. And what was more impressive was when ETH dumped the other day, we didn't cascade down along with that. So that was actually really good. That showed a bit of strength there. So hopefully if we see ETH, it's testing its support now on its recent breakthrough. If ETH pushes up, hopefully we get the follow through on Pulse Chain. But I feel like we're definitely on the right, we're heading in the right direction. How long it's going to take will be, I guess, we're at the whims of the market a little bit with that as well. But I think we're heading in the right direction for now. And yeah, I think the psychological barrier is the SAC price. Once you get through that, the lid will come off it for sure. And I think we're building the structure we need to do that. So yeah, I'm pretty positive on it.
I imagine once we get past SAC price, it'll, all the new people come in who have no idea what a SAC is or a SAC price is. They'll, hopefully see the value in Pulse Chain.
Yeah, no, we've had to grind up a little bit, but that's the way charts have got to work. If it just shoots up, no one will. Yeah, it won't be respected. You've got to build the structure, and there's no cheats way of doing it. We all want a massive God candle, but sometimes you got to do it the long road.
Well, let me ask you on Vouch real quick too. What are you seeing on the validator side? Like, what is there anything bullish or anything interesting happening? I know we got around 50,000 validators or so now, give or take. A lot of them, some of them are staked. The Liquid protocol is delegated, all that stuff. Some of them are the native ones out there. What is anything interesting in that realm before we wrap up?
Anything interesting? Like I said, it's good to see. It is quite a broad group of people that are doing that. I thought it was very US centric and would have been sort of mostly based there. But I've been amazed. Like I've spoken to guys in Italy, Vietnam. Like there's people running these nodes everywhere, man. It's awesome to see. So that gives me I just didn't expect that when I was part of the community. So it's good to see that we've reached out to all corners of the globe. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most positive things I've seen is this is truly global. And I've heard someone saying the other day, oh, Richard runs most of the nodes. It's actually not true at all. It's the community doing all this. There's a lot of people doing a lot of hard work in the background running all these nodes. So yeah, I've built a whole ecosystem around the validating side of things. So I'm really positive about it. You wouldn't do those things. Well, I wouldn't do those things if I didn't see a future for Pulse Chain beyond the excitement of one cycle. So for me, I'm being serious. When I showed that slide about building your financial future, I want to have a part in shaping that. So that's why I'm investing so much of my time, energy, and money into doing all that sort of stuff. I truly believe we've got something great to work with here.
Dude, it's been super exciting, and thank you for building on Pulse Chain. Thanks for bringing come to Hex Week and bring the information. And yeah, if you want to stick around, totally optional. I think it's earlier time. But if you want to stick around for Hex Panel, feel free.
Yep, we'll do. Yeah, I might just go grab a quick drink and then I'll jump back on.
Sounds good. All right, Jex, to see you soon.
Cheers, mate.
All right, last panel of the day, open to everyone. Link is in the chat. Get in as soon as you can because you may not get in if you don't get in right now. Pretty fun, pretty excited. I'm getting wore out from the day as well as one should be. Coming up, we're going to go probably over 7 hours today. Let me play something before we get into the next panel. We got a stacked panel for the next one as well. So very, very excited for it. What are we going to do? What have we did today? We did greatest thing. Let's do Hex Gang real quick. It's pretty good song.
Hey, yo, we Hex Gang. That's why they hit us with a Wells note. Hey, yo, we Hex Gang. That's why they hit us with a Wells notice. SEC versus RH11 until they notice. In the back of the court, we're just professional. We don't care. We got them always simple songs screaming out.
Heads post INC, post as we hold. Money stacking up, yeah, watch it explode. Heads post INC, post as we hold. Richard Hart versus SEC for crypto.
For some reason, yo, they hating no heads.
It don't matter,
we got each other's back. Now we can flex. Forget a market cap. Heads could burn all of that. RH spinning in the front, psyops in the back.
We stack, burn, flip and trade a little crypto.
Made other platforms famous cause the DeFi is all we know.
SEC sending their letters and marking their posts.
They didn't expect RH11 to come and dispose.
Heads post INC, post as we hold. Money stacking up, yeah, watch it explode. Heads post INC, post as we hold. Richard Hart versus SEC for crypto.
Pulse Chain has made it clear it's the new L1. Keeping gas fees low on Ethereum, case 1.
Post extra weight into crypto.
Regulations gonna take things slow. Everyone knows we stack, burn, flip, and hold every bit we own. Richard Hart got the vision. INC incentivizes us to run the show, while the SEC installs in the status quo.
Heads post INC, post as we hold. Money stacking up, yeah, watch it explode. Heads post INC, post as we hold. Richard Hart versus SEC for crypto.
Smart contracts running, DeFi is trust.
This is Pulse Chain gang, you don't believe in us.
SEC tried to talk, so we had 11 witness. The bear is the real test, SEC is just fitness.
We taking over, no time to debate.
Check your contract over, the audit said it was fake. You got the keys, and you collect all the fees, and you're not locked, so you probably pull liquidity.
Hey yo, this the future, crypto on lock. Hex is the first CD on block. SEC stepped in to stop the clock, but the validators running the code would never stop. Heads post INC, post as we hold. Money stacking up, yeah, watch it explode. Heads post INC, post as we hold. Richard Hart versus SEC for crypto.
Hex Panel. How's it going, everyone? Oop, there I am. Hex Panel. We're back. And everyone speak at once. Oh, Fast literally has the shirt off. Okay, let's go.
You guys are all wearing clothes.
We ain't dancing on graves yet. Whole thing hit past the famous.
nobody was gonna wear clothes, and all of a sudden you're all wearing shirts. Thanks a lot, guys.
I thought you were a dip catcher.
I missed the memo on this one.
Well played, sir.
But I mean,
Okay, I
feel
got
free to
something
keep
in.
your shirt off fast.
It's okay.
No, I mean,
I'm not saying you got to put it on. This is, I don't, you know, I'm not going to get any
it
instructions.
is some fine duds though. It looks dark on you there, sir.
Been doing some deadlifts. You've been doing the RH workout fast.
I do push-ups. That's about it.
3 minutes a day.
3-minute abs.
I almost have a
Oh,
2-pack.
You keep working it up. In 4 more years, you'll have a 3.69 pack. There we go. Dave Morales, glad you could join us as well. Welcome. Nice hat.
He's taking a nice walk. I don't know where he's
Almost
at.
off. I got the drip on too.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, gents, take it away. I'll be back in a little bit. Talk Hexy to everyone. Talk Hexy. Let's go.
So
You guys are looking hexy today. Those are some
What's
wild
going on?
shades you got there, Corey.
feeling it. Feeling very hexy today. So how's everybody doing? I love those
Blessed.
glasses, Dave, Corey. Those are
Appreciate it. Pulse chain vibes. I was hoping I could get the Hex logo on there, but I was unsuccessful with that part. The pulse chain is good. I can also get Pulse X on there. Let's see if I can do Pulse X.
nice.
Let's see, there it is. There's the Pulse X.
I love it. There you
Not
go.
too shabby.
Nice.
I've got most of the chain covered through my my new lens.
I'm just not sure that they're large enough, mate.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need a bigger set. I mean,
Oh man.
so when does everyone think that 5 million is gonna get spent?
Great question.
Yeah, that's been
I think
interesting
marketing.
just to sit there and watch it do nothing. I guess it's broad value, but yeah, to where I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's
the TVL
front
on the
runners.
fence on it.
Yeah. It's
I mean, I wouldn't be in no hurry to spend it either. I would just sit there and hang out for a little while and let people capitulate and sell because I'm already seeing the FUD on Twitter.
So yeah, you already saw that there was front runners that got caught real offsides there. So,
I know some guys who went pretty big on the Fame protocol, and I was like, ooh. And I had thought about it. I was like, you know what? I better now. What if it doesn't get deployed?
you know what's funny is I feel like the RH ecosystem, we've gotten a bit more like fleshed out because 2 years ago when news would break, like I could like calmly walk over to my computer and be like, click, make a trade, and like it would go pretty, like I wasn't in a, like now I feel like if you catch news like that, you don't catch that, like if you aren't watching and catching it yourself pretty quickly, like you're gonna get caught off sides, especially if you're making leverage moves on something like Fame. So like, I mean, you got to know you got to really be paying attention now, which I mean, that shows to me that we're getting to there's obviously more people paying attention. There's faster bots out there. There's lots of people that have incentive to pay attention and try and front run you. So
I'm watching Jexa here. He's probably running his own nodes. He could front run all of us.
I'm too busy doing other stuff to worry about that.
He's too busy running everyone else's nodes.
yeah, that's
to worry about his nodes. That's the problem. He's made a damn business out of it, which is great.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. That's another thing that's killer to see is there's several people who have made businesses out of just validator staking and providing services for people. I mean there's more than one liquid protocol like yours out there. There's people doing it in IRL, making hardware, boxes to be sent like David does. It's neat, and like that's sustaining.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How people take it for granted that how much these chains actually touch the real world and how much value gets brought into the chain from the real world. Like people want to run a validator, and they're probably paying someone like David to buy their equipment or get him to do some services, and he brings that funds back into the chain. So these guys have worked their job. They pay David some money. He brings it back into the chain. So yeah, that's what I just don't think people.
I'm one of
they
those
don't
guys.
Sort of understand that. Yeah, exactly.
I use David. I was running my own validators, but then I moved to Puerto Rico, and our power sucks here. Our water sucks. Our everything sucks. I'm like, no, I'm not running my own validators no more. So
same. Like I'm running off satellite internet, and like there's one power line that runs to the acreage I live on. If it ever goes down, it's not coming back up for days, right? Like
no
it's
bueno.
not worth it.
No.
Yeah, that's why I like the liquid staking protocols. It's the easier choice to do almost the same thing.
Agreed. I went, for some whatever it was, I made a exodus from mining. I used to spend all my time tinkering with the hardware for a living.
I mean, that's what you were in the movie about, Big K.
Yeah. I built lots of
You
machines.
definitely know from the movie.
And I'm like, there's a part of me that when something happens or there's something out there that like I want to, some part of me is like, oh, maybe I'll just kick up those cards and see what's going on here with it. But I can't. And like here, I just like, it doesn't make like any sense, to run any sort of hardware here that needs to have redundancy or needs to have uptime or is going to be power intensive. Like it just doesn't. I haven't had a desktop computer since I lived here, and it feels freeing. I'm like just free as a bird over here. I run some nodes through, some liquids, some vouch over here, and feel great about it. Like, and that was honestly the part that was like freeing about Hex is like from the get go. Is like I can remember staking Hex. At the same time, I was still running ETH miners, as I was running, I had a warehouse. We had downsized because, markets were bad, but I still was, still found windows of speculative mining that I was doing. And so like, I'm running both at the same time. And it became a no-brainer pretty quickly, hey, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with this hardware here? I just can click a couple buttons.
This is what I don't get. This is what I don't understand.
Hard.
Like, I Bitcoin miners go broke regularly. I don't like. You look at the price charts on the listed miners. They're dog shit. Like the Bitcoin's been going up, and they're still smashed. Like I don't know how these guys actually stay in business.
People. The only way that miners that are around is if you're running large facilities, have a deal with a power company.
Let's say free electricity.
Free electricity, or have a deal with something, and are running at some massive scale. Like as far as Bitcoin mining goes, like at home mining shit is very much for the birds. You like. That's something that Richard taught me pretty early on. Is like he had good knowledge on stuff. Like I remember him talking, using the one-way diode stuff about like some protocols, Veil and Beam. There were like some privacy stuff that came out. There were mineable coins, all the same. And like he was like, man, I got a bunch of 1080 Ti's here. Like I could kick up, but like it ain't worth it. And like I do the math on it. He's like, almost every time if you just buy the coin, and like every time you think about turning on those machines, you just buy whatever amount of coins you're willing to waste in electricity and just sit on those. You do better. Like almost every time. There's a few speculative plays that I could be like, no, I did real good catching some blocks early, but for the most part, no, you're just wasting your time. So Hex was what was like, it changed me. It changed me entirely because I thought that like to be a part of crypto and to really like understand what's going on here, you needed to be a miner. You had to understand, what was going on the chain, and like I was like that's not true at all. And I've done, and in fact, financially did way better not touching a single machine. So you'll figure.
Yeah,
Hex for the win.
Totally agree. And I think since the yield's been switched off on Hex, which ultimately I think was a good thing given where we were in the cycle, obviously that's become, the yield components become less of a draw card, but I think that will get reflected in token value sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's a trade-off for price go up.
Yeah. And I suspect that if we go into the next bear market, you might see yield get switched back on.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
I think there's some interesting mechanics that can be played there. So I think people that are probably less inclined to stake now, when those dials get moved around, prices up, and yield starts getting switched back on, I think that will change significantly.
There could even be some door prizes for those who chose to stake with lower rewards, right? Because as I understand the levers that can be pulled, one of them is the OA emergency end staking some of those big stakes to increase the APR, which would also the majority of the penalty would go back to the OA. Because it's the biggest staker and because it gets 50% of the penalty, but probably a notable portion would go to established stakers. So that could be a nice little handshake.
That would be something that could be a nice and like the nice thing about bonuses like that is that it's for that day, like it happens for that day. So it's kind of like
be in the
almost
system.
like a snapshot kind of
That
situation,
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's neat. I always thought that was like early on in Hex. I loved to discuss and talk about some of those levers that are kind of things in blockchain that, like I said, it's, if you haven't listened to and believe some of what Richard's trying to get across, that there's a big difference between economic decentralization and network level decentralization, and like what the benefits are of each or the dangers are of each. In fact, then it's really hard to process why we're bullish about having something that can adjust your APY as this, But like we've consistently seen over 5 years of acting that at the end of the day, this has been here to keep things in the system very well balanced. It's for good. It's for the better of the system.
Yep.
So
exactly. I think people that have a cursory look at Hex see that as a negative. They think that is a massive red flag, but what they don't understand is when you delve deeper into the mechanics of how it can be used, it's actually super positive, and it's there to protect everything. And you can, like you say, you can have a period of where over this bull run, yields look shit, but if it's a 5-year stake, that can be flipped in a dime, and that yield average over that 5 years can be cranked straight back up to something that looks fantastic and has been worthwhile being in it for 5 years. You don't care about it until you get a stake ended anyway. So that switch can be flicked whenever.
If you have a 15-year stake, this bull run's not even really relevant to you.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it does not.
But that reward, if there is an emergency end stake en masse from the OA, that would still be relative to you if you were,
definitely.
if you had
as long as you're in the system, you have
and quite a high margin, because you'd get if you have a long stake, you have these bonuses that you're getting. So like you're actually 2 or 3x what your actual input is. That's some of like the unique feature of Hex that was awesome early on is because there was these well thought out, carefully leveled rewards. It wasn't just massive. I mean, we've seen a million protocols come out that either inflate to crazy amounts, or try and burn 1 million tokens to try and counteract for that, or whatever. There's and a lot of that, whether it be high APY or not having any sort of centralized origin address situation to control some things, like all of those things have proven to not really have the time tested like longevity that Hex has had, and it's not just the code, but it's also in, you can see it in all of us here talking about it.
The Maximus DAO products would do very well if there were big emergency end stakes. That would give them immediate value boost.
For sure, because they are all getting the max bonuses too, or close to it, depending on
stakes like $3 million and stuff like that.
Yep, that's true. Yep. That's true.
Yeah, hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, you would get the benefit of it straight away.
That's pretty neat. I mean, like that stuff is, and like it's still at play. It's still at play to see where it's going to end. And like I was saying on the talk that I did earlier about like the fact that I made the Hex stakes that I did whether it be the fact that I'm still super interactive with the community, or whether it be the fact that like it just insulated me mentally for this cycle and the last cycle and whatever's to come, like it's something that really people, I can't, like, it's hard to stress that enough in a way that like makes sense. Cause like I get it. Like I've argued with some other Hexicans of friends of mine, like over the past 4 years, being like, hey dog, what would it have made, like if you could have just unstaked X stake at the top at 56 cents, and wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't that have made sense? And you're like, for the past 4 years, I've had to like argue mental, like on paper, no, you're right. It would have made sense to unstake the coin, but like there's more going on here at play than just like I said, in the paper, like just the gains there. It's really about like crypto in general is about this, like it's a longer race than just a flash in the pan thing, and people don't realize that. Everyone has this short term, like we're going to get rich this cycle mentality, and like they don't realize before you know it, like I turn around and I'm like, oh, I've been in crypto for whatever, it's 10 years almost now, and then you're like, wow, that's nearly a decade in something that like I thought that I missed the boat on when I first got involved in 2016, being like, I can remember being like, how could I have not known about this? It's Bitcoin's at $600. How did I not know about, and like, no, we were just getting started, and that's the kind of stuff that we'd have to realize. And like having those long-term stakes like that helped me to be like, man, this is, and I look at some of them now, some of the early stuff I've done, and being like, man, a lot of time has eroded relatively quickly,
Yeah, it's like when you're throwing things out for 10 years, you didn't think it would pass this quickly, did you?
No. Have a couple of kids and time flies, Like,
Get married,
older than your
kids,
right?
move.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It all happens. And like I can say that, so much of what's happened in my life, at least, has been centered around this, because it's changed my life in a lot of ways, but it's all, and like, also like, it's this super sticky, super interactive, just game theory that really keeps me constantly, like it's the the enigma of it is like, I can't stop paying. I've made the stakes so that I don't have to watch the chart, but like here I am every day saddling up to the computer, getting into the trenches, like, so it's like, it's wild.
It's funny.
And
so the chat, sorry, you go.
Sorry. And for a smart contract that hasn't changed,
Yep. It's funny you say that about hanging around. And so that's what I was talking about a minute ago, about all the communities and the sub communities. And Somi said something on one of his videos last night about all the Hex and Pulse chain women. And it's actually true. Like if you look across all the other communities, they don't have representation like we do on that side of the community. And so there's got to be something there it's not just all degenerate young dudes. Like it's brought it's brought the other gender across as well. So there's something there that obviously resonates with everyone. So it's been, when he said that, I thought, he's actually true. Like if you delve into other communities, they just don't have that sort of representation. So it's sticky enough, and that builds that community. And I think there's that, I don't know, women seem to like that security side of things. So maybe there's that, the whole staking thing and the saving for the future and all that. Maybe there's an appeal there. I don't know.
It's true. It's true. I'm not saying like there's other crypto ladies in the general mainstream crypto, but the amount of lady centric stuff that we get going on in Hex. I mean, they do golf tournaments, they have streams, they have regular outings that are like there's definitely like I'm nothing that's regularly impressed by that, because it is definitely a finance in general is overwhelmingly a male dominated situation, so finding anyway, and like that's something that like, I mean, my wife has said from the beginning of all this, she's like, man, is like, how do you get more ladies involved in crypto? She's like, something we were talking about 2017, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like as I'm not sure. But so like this has definitely done quite a great job. I was looking forward to Whitney. I thought she was going to be on the panel with us.
Yeah, she's supposed to be here.
But she's fantastic for that stuff. I mean, I'll speak into some of her good graces. Like that some ladies out there really need and do very well with having a community of people of the like-minded investors as well. So like she's doing a great job at rallying that and creating that community herself. So
yeah, I think she's seen Fast didn't have a shirt on and decided not to join.
Thanks,
Fast. I mean, you chasing all the girls away.
Happens. Haven't been shirtless before in front of ladies and scared them away. Then what do you do? Put yourself out there.
I'm not too worried. So what do you guys think the next big thing for Hex is going to be? Like obviously everybody's like when Moon, right? But like when future development, when game changer.
I'm ready for and it's not game changer, but like I'm really ready for there to be some angry other crypto people on Twitter getting these free electronic devices, whatever they may be. I can't wait till they're like posting pictures of them and angrily being like, what the hell is this? Why is this even legal? Stop this people from doing this. Richard.
That's so awesome.
I can't wait for that. That was one of the more fun parts about the last bull run, as like of the culmination of marketing coming together for people, for all that. That was great. So like I think that we're going to get to see quite a bit of that again, and I'm looking forward to what that looks like.
There's going to be anger out there, man. That's going to be funny.
Oh yeah, that's something that that's something that again I didn't like. I learned so much about marketing just from being a part of this community, because like I've said it before, like I have a math degree, I've got project managed stuff. Like I got into this to talk about numbers and stuff, and like then I realized pretty early on I was like, I'm marketing here. That's what we're really doing. It's very So I learned a lot about that, and like that I learned that like that's from Richard that like if you're turning people's eyes and making them angry, then like you're reaching people. If they're yelling at you, then like you're reaching people. You're not just reaching them, you're reaching everybody. You're just like they just happen to be the loudest, but like they're a canary in the coal mine to let you know that like, hey, this is working. Like you're getting out there. And so that's fun. It's fun. That's a fun part of it.
Whoever's sending out the digital stuff, if we can make sure Matthew Crater gets one, that would be awesome. I'd love to see his reaction. He's got a special place of hate for Hex. So.
Yeah. I hope all the haters out there get one. And
I was going to say I would love all the haters to get something.
Talk about it as angrily as possible. Yes.
I wonder if that's what the mailing list is RH collecting data for years on all the people who hate Hex. One by one.
The problem is that it's supposed to be high net worth individuals getting these devices. So I don't know how many of his haters are high net worth, individuals.
I mean, that's the thing. If it's any backseat crypto people that are out there that are all Ethereum or all Bitcoin or hate him for whatever reason, and feel strongly about it, all those people feel, it's great. I love that marketing. Because we will reach a lot of other people that are super interested along the way.
You'll bring a lot of new eyeballs over.
Yeah,
and that's the whole point.
Oh yeah. So that's
people always FUD direct mail. It's so funny. And before I got into crypto, I was in real estate. That's what I did. We flipped houses. We did wholesaling. And I used to buy 10 houses a month from direct mail. We spent about 70 grand a month. It was all postcards. And it was a very expensive form of marketing, but it works. They get their postcard. They don't throw it away. They stick it on the fridge or they put it on the counter. And then when they're thinking about selling their house, they'd call us. And this is no different, really. I mean, so it's, direct mail does work. And so it's just a very expensive form of marketing. That's all it is. But I know firsthand it works. It makes a ton of money.
It does. Yep. So even if you go to the letterbox, grab out your mail and walk it straight to the bin, you've got to sort through it
You're going to
put
look
in
at
the
it.
bin.
You have
Yeah.
to
You are
look.
going to
You're
look at
gonna
it.
look at it. Mhm.
You have to.
Nobody's gonna
Yeah.
throw this thing in
Yeah.
the bin. Like it's gonna be a package. This is just from the public telegram room. What I understand, it's gonna be like a sealed
Yeah.
package. Probably gonna say something cool on the front, and it's gonna have some weight to it, right? It's gonna be like, what is this? You're gonna open it.
That
We
feels
know
like
it has
money.
batteries,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, that'd be cool. But like we know it has batteries, so you're gonna open it. You open it up. Maybe there's a screen. Maybe there's a speaker. It's gonna tell you something. It's gonna do something. Like you're not gonna immediately throw that in the junk mail bin. You know, like it's
Yeah.
gonna you're gonna show your friends. Even if you hate it, you're gonna show your friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If it's a novel, if it's something novel, and people go, oh, "Look what I got in the mail," like they'll show it to their friends.
Mhm.
This is the first time I've seen one of these.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna have a shelf life. Like people are gonna hold on to them for, 1-2 years.
Yeah,
Some
there's a whole
people,
community of people out here. Like there's shit tons of Hexicans that just in the way that the Telegram group and Richard has done things. He's like he has us all chomping at the bit for some marketing material. We're all like, please, can you send me one of these marketing things?
Yeah,
Right.
Like,
I've got to be honest. I haven't set my expectations high because everyone's going, "Oh, it's hardware wallet. It's all this." I'm going, "Yeah, I don't know
no,
that
it's
going to be
not.
anything."
It's not going to be anything super crazy, but like it'll be cool enough. And like just because we don't know, we all want to know real bad too. So like, I mean, just that fact alone, there's a mark. There's going to be a strange market for for somebody to see one of these things. So
I think it's one of those digital postcards. I don't know if you guys ever seen those. Masterminds send those out all the time to prospects that try to get into their groups. And of course, these guys are, they're high net worth entrepreneurs. But they come in the mail and they look like almost like miniature iPads. And you open them up, and then there's the video that plays like the whatever marketing ad they're going to be, they're trying to shill, and there's usually a call to action at the end of the movie, and then they're very bulky and big. And so you open them, you keep them because they feel expensive. It's like, wow, this was a lot of money. It was not right. The novelty aspect of it, and you're like, man, the guy who sent this to me probably spent $5 just on this piece of mail. And so I think it's something like that. I could be totally wrong, but I think
agree.
I agree. Something like that. I mean, like, and
I
again,
found,
just
Alibaba that like a hex shaped. It wasn't about hex, but a hex shaped like postcard. You open it up, it has speaker, it has TV, and it's like, okay, yeah, Richard printed 50 million of those that are coming in containers to the U.S. first, right? Like it's just
think about if you weren't in Hex and you received that, would you not open that? I would open. Of course, I would open that.
And especially if it comes at the same time, like we get all these a confluence of things. We get the government telling you that crypto is really cool. We're buying a whole bunch. There's oh hey, rates are lower right now. Oh hey, I just read a whole big thing about some freaking helicopter money that's going to go out to people. So like all that's going to come, and great. This is perfect timing for us to say it's over here, guys. Take a look at what we can do here. Yeah, and if we continue to get rate cuts and the bull run lasts into next year, then there'll be a lot of really happy people that get these and actually take them seriously. So I'm excited about that. Like it's really a exciting that I feel like is the most neat part of what's going on in the near future. But there's lots of other stuff. I mean, on protocol and all that, on Pulse stuff wise. But for Hex, I really think that's going to be something that's somewhere between that and that $5 million that's sitting there just chilling. Maybe some more of that comes across and some stuff starts happening. All that I like the green. I remember green candles are some of the best forms of marketing.
Yeah. If you have some green candles when those new eyeballs come and look at your chain. And look at more specifically Hex, if there's some green candles there, we know new money, especially retail money, loves to buy green candles. Like even the seasoned investors will buy green candles, but we know we shouldn't. But new money, for sure, they will look at the charts and go, "Oh, that looks attractive. I want a piece of that."
I think it's all additive. Like you've got the money coming across the chain and just parking itself there. We've got like the rate cuts. We've got the cycle. Looks like things are economically about to turn. I think we've washed out most of the dumpers. It's taken a long time to flush everyone out, but I think we've got to that point where I think we've got a few people that are actually happy to hold now. So I just get the feel that the timing on a lot of things is right. So
yeah, it's lining up. That's all part of the market cycle, man. I believe, in the 4-year cycle, and all follow suit. We're lining up with altcoin season and everything else. It's just all part of the plan. I always say on my show, we're in a matrix. Everything's already been planned out. We just got to lean in and play our part. That's it. Like all this stuff just repeats and goes over again. And now you see the opportunity. You have to have faith. And it takes a lot to have faith. But you got to have the faith, play your part, lean in, and your life can be changed forever.
I think the tide's starting to change too on like just public opinion from outside the community. Obviously there's still some haters, but the other day I ended up in like a private X space with where an influencer, had a group, right? And so I joined just to see what would happen. And they had me up on the stage. They had me talking about Pulse Chain. They had me talking about Hex, and there was zero hate. Right.
Good.
There was some reflection on old Richard Hart. He was kind of a meme for a while, but he launched Hex. They knew what it was, right? The audience was happy enough, right? I had 50 people follow me, right? Who I'd never met before, who are not part of the community. So it's like we can start to reach out and get an effect outside of the echo chamber.
Yeah.
And they were very happy to hear about Pulse Chain, right? And promised to, have me back, right? And there was $0 that changed hands. It was just, they want the info and we have it. So, I think, as KOLs, as we're called now, we can start to infiltrate other communities on a high level.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that there's a lot of people that are, because I mean, there's more KOLs now than there was last market cycle by a insane multiple, and not everybody is, it's like some Gilded Age shit, not everybody is part of this old guard that has these feelings and hatreds for this. A lot of people are actually just looking for good opportunities, and the ones that all these old KOLs and the ones that have been here forever are shilling them. They already know that those people have fat bags and are in, and are in that it's not gonna, that's not actually the opportunity, so they're actually trying to figure it out. And then you're like, hey guys, we're over here. We haven't pumped yet. We've got a lot going on. That's great over here. I mean, and overall, it's still the most thrilling and entertaining and wild community of people in crypto to pay attention to too. It's its own, good and bad all around. I mean, it's the best of it, and it's also,
that's what makes it, man. That's what makes it.
Yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head. So the people that came out hard on the hate were actually Bitcoin maxis, and I think so. After chasing after Richard, and the reason why they've done that is one of their own went out and done his own thing. So
went rogue.
He went rogue, and they just flipped the lid. So you go look at all the major interviews. It was all Bitcoin maxis that came out. What is his Giacomo, Peter, who else?
Tone Vase.
I think that was true at the time, but now I think it's shifted to, some prominent KOLs have, turned on Richard or attacked Richard for engagement, right? And
I mean, that's
community jumps on you. You get 50,000 views, right?
Yeah, we do.
If they switch sides, like when green candles come, because they're fickle and they may or may not really be our friends. But if they switch sides to our team when the green candles come, they're going to get that engagement they want too, right? Just in a positive way. So,
Yep.
like, of
Right.
course, there's going to be some people who remember, but that's fine. And I think we should all forgive and forget for the duration.
For
of the
sure.
moment.
I'm all about I don't hold any grudges about any of that stuff with it. I'm the first person to be like, if any of these dudes, if Tone Bayes was all like, oh, I just bought some Hex, I'd be like, dog,
Let's go.
here's a hug, buddy. You know, like, ever come on in, you know, like I don't care. I love it all, you know, and we'll take it all. But I also think that it would be good if the outreach marketing that we're doing for Hex is centered at communities and groups that don't have any, like I said, we're not going to don't even bother with people that already have an opinion, you know, that's negative. Don't even, it's not, there's so many more people out there that are just like, what do I buy? What do I do here? Yeah. Crypto is good now, you know? And so like, those are all the people, like there's so many of those in other communities all over the place to be able to net that don't have, you don't have to fight that uphill battle about like, oh, who is, you don't have to mention Richard. It doesn't even have to be a thing, you know? Like you just,
so what, with a fresh inflow of capital from new buyers, you also get not only is there a recycling of cash and value, but there's a recycling of people that are presenting on YouTube, people that are like you basically turn over a new generation of the next wave of people coming in, so they don't have the trauma, we'll call it trauma, of past cycles. So they're coming in with fresh eyes. And what you'll find in a lot of cases is we live in a little bit of a bubble where we've been all about Hex and Pulse Chain for the last few years. I speak to people that have been in crypto for years and go, oh, yeah, I do a bit of this. And they go, what? I've never even heard of that. And I'm like, okay, so we all think that a lot of people that are in crypto already know about us, but a lot of them, they're doing their own thing. They're tinkering in their little corner of crypto. And I don't know how many goddamn chains we're up to now. I've lost count. It's insane how many chains there are. I don't even know half of them.
They're in their own bubble. I'll tell you a story. Here in Puerto Rico where I live, my neighbor, he moved in like about 3 months ago. He's an ETH guy, only an ETH guy, and told him about Pulse Chain. He never heard of it. He knew about Richard Hart and Hex from last cycle, but he knew nothing about Pulse Chain, nothing about, you know, the fork. And well, the long story short, he's in the ecosystem now. I onboarded them, and but he's a good example of like you're talking about, Jexa. He was an ETH guy, and he was in his own bubble. He only knew his own stuff, and he didn't even know Richard Hart launched a chain. So
yeah, I don't even know half the shit going on Pulse Chain. Like you just can't keep up with it.
I don't either anymore. I mean, because like I'm always touching grass now, right? I'm always doing my own thing, right? And that's also how I'm able to stay so diamond-handed, because I'm not always plugged into everything. I like that, but like sometimes like a protocol will come up and like, oh, I don't know much about that. I should learn more about that. Yeah, that's part of my problem. I want to know more without having to be like involved every day, all day, every waking minute. I don't know how fast
I gotta have like layers of what I can handle. You know, it's like I go over something pretty quickly to be like, all right, this is something that I need more time for this, or I don't know, good shit, I can't even bother. You know, like you gotta
carve it off on your calendar. Be like, okay, I'm trying to dive into this.
And sometimes I get caught in some cycle of some dumb whatever meme thing, and I'm just watching it, watching some real garbage, and just like, what do I plan?
I
started playing some Flappy Bird game last night. That's a pump tires token. I don't fucking know, man.
My last 4 or 5 DCAs have just gone into core assets because I don't even want to do any of the thinking. I don't even want to like try to find.
No, that's the best. That's the best thing too. And like that's I try and tell people that get all afraid, because so many people that I've onboarded are afraid to click so many buttons, and I'm like, dog, you're the best. Like you just buy something and just don't touch anything. Just go
buy Hex, Pulse Hex. Like
and just
story over. It's
because I mean that's the thing, is that most of the tinkering you'll do, especially once we get into this like mid to late bull cycle, like no, just chill, man. You already positioned yourself, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the hardest part, though, sitting on your hands.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, not trading yourself out of your own bags. Not that, like, traders can win, but most don't. And when I'm looking for, and like, if I have, $500 to deploy and I want an easy choice, like I pick one of the 4 cores all the time.
Yeah.
If I have, whatever secret inside Cabal information, maybe I buy something else. But
Yeah.
the easy choice is the 4 core coins.
The Cabal, that word's no longer going to be fun because most of those guys who were throwing that word around seem to have left.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was a lot of fun there for a while. Now it's like,
well, it's like they want to. It's real easy to rally like there's certain ways to like coalesce communities, and one of the easiest ways to do it with like low intellect level of doing it is to like pick an enemy and the more faceless and the less that they can speak for themselves, the better, so like it's a cabal of people that are just people that might be not have your best interest or something, but like it's not really a thing, and so they, you know what I mean, like or whatever.
Yeah, there's no secret cabal.
Yeah, and like if there
There's
was
a bunch of them, but they're disappointingly not evil. Like
like a bunch of different groups of people, and like there's not actually a bunch of evil shit going on, and not everyone is just like manipulating the chain to like like take all your money. It's not like that. You're just actually a bad trader. It's not it's not all of us, So that's all. That's whatever. It's fine. It's I think that's great that they to have community, but like when you grow it through that kind of stuff, it's like, well, it's eventually it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever.
Yeah. Misery loves company, and that's what I always say. Is like these guys are miserable and they capitulate their bags. They want to convince you to do the same and be miserable with them, and that's how they grow that kind of community. And that kind of community, it will only attract more misery and more of like type people. And yeah, it's just no way to build long-term growth or community in my opinion. It's horrible.
Yeah. What usually happens, and so happens in all societies, is you fracture off, you build a community, and then that community ends up with sub-communities that then basically.
And we've seen that right now too. We're seeing that. Sub-communities, a sub-community.
Sub-community. Yeah.
It's wild.
As soon as you get big enough, you're going to get dissent because you got different people in there.
Yeah,
it was really interesting to watch it play out. Yeah.
If you could fork it and do it, and you have like any sort of belief that you can take a group of people with you, people will do it. It's just
it's starting to be kind of a last man standing thing when you look at like, okay, who's still building on the pulse chain, right? And it's like the number like there's more people building meme coins on the pulse chain, but there's not that many serious builders. So I think when we see the next bear market come and go and the next bull market start, who's still standing here then is going to tell the tale.
For real.
That's true because I mean I do feel like I don't feel like I think you're right, there's not that many, but there has been several teams that have put out products, but it's really you're right, it's going to be a matter of which of these ones are useful enough to actually garner the volume that they need to like build the momentum to be a sustaining protocol.
I think you've got to
founders showing up for that timeline.
Yeah, that's right. You got two subsets as well. You've got people that are building protocols and are actually on chain, and you've got a lot of people that are building services around that, so like the block explorers and coin tracking things, and so there's sort of a couple of different realms. But yeah, a lot of the building which is on chain, or a lot of the creation at the moment seems to be a lot of the meme coin sort of stuff. But I know, I know of a lot of things that are getting built that are going to add a lot of good value as well. Like
or completely off chain, like we have what's called the DeFi Wealth Trust, is where people can sell crypto and go into real world assets and go back into crypto. Like we onboarded the entire the trustee, the lawyers, all of them. We onboarded them to Pulse Chain so they could understand DeFi. And so like that's a good example where it's not even. It didn't basically even touch the chain, but it's got a good use case if you want to defer your taxes. Yeah.
You guys don't get enough credit for how much you onboarded. You must be, you and your partner are probably
Yeah.
the biggest onboarders to Pulse Chain, period.
We have
right in terms of
300
$millions.
members in our real estate group community. Got another 900 that we sent through what we call our accelerator, which is a whole different product. But the real estate guys, I mean, some of these guys are coming in with, they're coming with 6-figure clips all the time. Like it's always, and these guys have never done crypto and they understand real estate at a very high degree, but they don't understand this stuff. And so we go to these real estate events, we speak on stage, we go in and we onboard them, and we teach them all about this stuff. And so, yeah, that's been a lot of fun.
Mate, it'd be interesting to have a chat to you about that. So my background was in the property development, and I'm going down in November to present to a group of property guys, and I was going to talk about my sort of the stuff I do in the real world to do with crypto. But
I'm pretty bearish on real estate right now, Jexa.
No, me too. Yeah, but
bearish. Go watch my show from today and last week. But I think we have a great opportunity where we can absolutely crush it in the crypto game. Make, who knows, 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever it does, right? Like this next altcoin season, Pulse Chain, Hex is going to do absolutely amazing in my opinion, not financial advice. But take that money, and then I think, man, you might be able to buy like legacy type real estate bottoms in 2026 and 27. Real estate works off an 18.5-year cycle in the US, and we're coming on the top of that next cycle. And if you time it right, man, that's like true wealth preservation type stuff, man. It's
funny because that's exactly what I've been thinking as well. I pulled out a property for the last probably 5 or 6 years. I think their last project was. So sort of seeing where the cycle was going, and was thinking about crypto cycle ends, rotate back into property. But
it can be perfect. It can work out perfect. I don't want to jinx it. But it can work out.
I'm finding it harder, and I'm finding it harder and harder to want to go back to that asset class though, because
I can see that
crypto is just so easy, so less friction.
You can go back in the form of
liquidity.
Like syndications, funds. Like syndications is like you can go in, be an investor, get your IRR, which is crypto terms is APY. You can make we make around anywhere from 15 to 25% IRR, and you could sell your syndications. You can sell out of some of this stuff, and then get shares in a company, right? And then you just take that money and go right back into crypto again and buy the bottom, whether it be Bitcoin, Ethereum, coming in, buying your favorite assets like Hex, Pulse Chain, because these are going to be multi-cycle assets, guys. I mean, that's what I'm planning on. So like coming in, buying those bottoms. Yeah,
I'd love to hear what your pitch is to property guys. I've got to go sit in front of
I got a lot of presentations that I can show you. We got pitch decks. We got all that.
Yep. Moppa bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole club's looking at Hex. Hopefully, I heard buying bottoms. That made me think of that song. Shout out to whoever song by. Is that
I give credit to Dylan. You guys know Dylan with the Fame team. No, I love Dylan.
Say Flow Rider. Flow Rider, and he
literally put a rap song out. This is like maybe 6 months ago. He put a rap song out on all these different telegrams. I think he put it on Twitter. Right at the Hex bottom at 0.0035 or where Hex kind of bottomed at. And I was doing my monthly DCA at that time. And instead of breaking it up between all the cores and doing what I normally do, he made me, I was like, man, screw it. I'm going to FOMO the whole thing into Hex. And so I give him credit all the time. If he's watching, I give him credit for, getting me to FOMO the Hex bottom.
And overall, that's a great timing because I'm pretty sure Hex is up quite a bit more than the other cores.
I'm doing my Hex is my biggest bag now, and I'm happy with the bag.
That's the thing is that if Hex works the way it did last time, is that like I had other coins, and then Hex just was became my biggest bag like a bunch of times, many times over, and I was like, okay,
right.
So
it didn't start that way, right? Like it turned into that.
But I also will say that like. I mean, that's why that feeling is tough to deal with when you're like, oh my god, oh shit. But like this is really why we're all here. Like that's why Pulse was made. Pulse was made like at the very core to make Hex awesomer. So like out of all the things, I do love Pulse X2. I think Pulse is neat. I think it's all neat, but I really still love Hex the best. You know, still just that's the reason for the season.
Greatest. Hex.com. Amazing. Gents, amazing panel. I was listening in as well. I've only got to take minimal pee breaks. You know, I know Richard used to do 6 to 8 hour streams with no pee breaks, but I do minimal pee breaks from time to time over a 7 hour and 12-minute stream. Boom, we did it. We did it. Day 2. We got 3 more days to go. Let's do this. Hex Week. Hexweek.com. That's not a website.
See you guys on Friday.
See you guys Friday. Yeah. Everyone, welcome to come back tomorrow. Again, all the panels, Hex panels at the end of each day are open to everyone. So please, speakers, not speakers otherwise, come join us, have a conversation. A lot of good stuff. Appreciate you all, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. You are. Thank you.
Let's do it. All right, everyone. That's all we got for today. Sci-Fi 5555. Enjoy this video.
Years old, already reading fast. Gifted school couldn't hold him back. Special program, logic and code. Humble roots, but a genius mode. Dad fixed AC, delivered the news. Taught him to hustle, never to lose. Car stereo business, teenage dreams. Online platforms, building schemes. AC company, adult store too. Browser optimization, revenue flew. 60 million yearly, success so sweet. Semi-retired, but never complete. Reddit showed them Bitcoin's like blockchain future burning bright. Who is Richard Hart? He's taking control. Hex and Pulse Chain, that's how he rolls. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Crypto revolution, he's the composer. Who is Richard Hart? The king of the scene. Building tomorrow and blockchain dreams. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Digital freedom, he's the bulldozer. First blockchain CD, Hex was born. High returns while others were torn. Pulse Chain launch, eco-friendly way. Pulse X exchange, a brand new day. 27 million for research and health. Longevity research benefited from his wealth. Inspiring millions to break their chains. Financial freedom, healthy gains. Fighting scams with all his might. Protecting users, shining light. And Safe came knocking at his door, but he fought back and won the war. Who is Richard Hart? He's taking control. Hey, Hex and Pulse, crypto revolution, he's the composer. Who is Richard Hart? The king of the scene, building tomorrow with blockchain dreams. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Digital freedom, he's the bulldozer. Red notice came from Interpol's call. Finished claims, trying to make them fall. Tax fraud allegations, assault they say, but the system's broken. Games they play, business rivals using legal schemes. Crushing innovators, killing dreams. If haters wanted to get me down, they'd raise more than my 27 million crowns. Diamonds worth millions, watches and cars. DC allegations reach for the stars, but he denied it all. Stood his ground, blockchain freedom, that's what he found. Won in court, they didn't appeal. Justice served, victory real. Ecosystem vision, wallet and all. Independent blockchain standing tall. Bitcoin and Ethereum left behind. Community value, peace of mind. Who is Richard Hart? He's taking control. Revolutionary leader, that's his role. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Second crypto wave, he's the composer. Who is Richard Hart? Controversial king, sparking debates. Freedom he brings. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Crypto's future, he's the takeover. Pivotal figure in digital space. Influential leader, setting the pace. Building community, advocacy strong. Richard Hart's story, the crypto song. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. I'm not fucking around, I'm here to take over. Don't look at me, I'm a ghost in the street with a red.
Hex.com